Hey, this is Tyler Jalbert, driver of the '04 mainly asphalts Camaro. You're watching XCAL on Telesign TV.
Esto es XCAL League, soy Octavio Rondoletto y me verás arriba del Telesign 77.
Hi, this is Angelo Esposito, driver of the 33 machine, and you're watching XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Hi, this is Kenny Tripp, driver of the main Mongol truck service Camaro. You're watching XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Hey, ich heiße Rafael Sempro und bin der Fahrer des Wagens mit der Nummer 74 und ihr guckt XCAL Racing auf Telesign TV.
This is Ryan Soper, driver of the number 84 RS racing car, and you're watching XCAL Racing on Telesign TV.
Good evening, my friend, and welcome to the XCAL Racing Telesign TV 350. My name is PDJ Zeller, and you are watching Telesign TV. As always, alongside me is going to be my broadcast partner, Paul Coleman Jr. Actually, excuse me, this is the XCAL Racing 350. The Telesign TV 350 is next week, so my apologies. But, Paul, as we get ready for this race, a lot of storylines coming in this one from the Oxford Plains, but none bigger than this. 3 of the 4 heat race winners will not be starting in the 3 of the first 4 spots. So here's what happened. Joel Blewett, who won heat race number 1, he was sent to the back for not finishing mandatory practice. The man who won heat race number 2, the man who won heat race number 3, Nick Ramsay, who was going to start on pole, he got sent to the rear of the field for not finishing minimum mandatory practice. And then Kyle Streichars, who won the last heat race and was scheduled to start 3rd, he actually had an exam come up for college. He couldn't race, so he has a backup driver, Jonathan Tuckness, driving for him. But since Tuckness didn't do the minimum mandatory practice because he didn't know he was going to be racing today, Tuckness will be starting from the rear. So 3 of our 4 heat race winners are either not here or going to be starting from the back of the field, Paul.
That's going to be exciting because obviously by the fact that they won, they definitely know how to run up front, so it's going to be an interesting storyline to follow these guys as they make their way up front. But yeah, no doubt Oxford is one of those tracks that you definitely have to get the more practice, the better, because the outfield, as you will, as opposed to the infield, the outfield will eat you up in a second and take you out. So definitely the practice time there.
And Paul, we've had some bad boys the last few weeks. 4 drivers suspended from this week's field. Sean English and Ryan Soper both in their final week of a 3-week suspension, so neither of them will be on the track this weekend. And also getting 1 race suspensions for actions late in the race last week, Tyler Jalbert and Kenny Tripp, they are not on the track this week either. So some of the bigger names from XCAL, especially Jalbert and Tripp, not in the field tonight.
Absolutely. Well, as I mentioned last week in the broadcast, I think we're all disappointed with the way Tyler Jalbert kind of robbed us of a great finish. So I think that's definitely appropriate. And the other gentleman, we know it's final exam time, and I know they're in school, so hopefully they're using this time to study up and do the right thing and get a good grade on their exams.
Well, Paul, as we're wrapping up pre-race practice here, getting ready for the start of the feature, tell me, Paul, what are your keys to the race this week from the Oxford Plains? Certainly one of the most unique tracks on the entire iRacing service.
Number one thing is stay out of the outfield. Obviously, if you spin into the outfield, they're not going to throw a yellow, and it's probably going to take you at least a lap to get back there on track, if not longer. So you definitely want to avoid running the high line because it's very easy for a car to slide up into you. So that's the number one key for sure.
All right, well, here we go. We're going to go through the pre-race starting grid. Here we go. Starting on pole position, that is position number 1, will be the number 77 of Octavio Rondoletto in the Telesign TV car. Starting on his outside, in the number 53 will be Tyler Batchelder. In 3rd, in the number 48 will be Jordan Babinger. 4th, in the number 1 will be Brandon Varney. 5th, in the 454 will be Luke Turpin. 6th, in the number 99 will be Tyler McRae. 7th, in the 45 will be Travis Sukup. 8th in the number 66 will be Kendrick Crayer, 9th in the number 2 will be Ben Eaton, and 10th in the 704 will be Greg Holtz. 11th in the number 32 will be Trevor Birchmere, 12th in the 08 will be William Karp, 13th in the number 16 will be Pat Sullivan, 14th in the number 25 will be Bruce Helmuth, 15th in the number 24 will be Jeremy Leto. 16th in the number 28 will be Steven Rex. 17th in the number 01 will be John Schwartz. 18th in the 062 will be Johnny B. And 19th in the number 11 will be Heather Patrick. In 20th, we have the number 7 of Jeff Edgar. 21st, we have the number 20 of Jose Godino. 22nd is the 5 of Derek Colson. 23rd is the 06 of Cody Jones. 24th is the 82 of Alex Gangler. 25th will be the 34 of Nick Ramsay. 26th will be the 85 of Aiden McConney. 27th will be the 83 of Jonathan Tuckness. 28th will be the number 52 of Marty Zakala. And rounding out our field in 29th will be the number 86 of Matthew Bear. And as we get ready to go green here early on, Paul, quickly in the heat races, most of them went fairly green. Do you think we're going to see this one have a lot of green laps early?
Absolutely. Like I said, most of your accidents that will occur here will occur, off the racing line. So if XCAL admin decides not to throw the yellow, I don't see ourselves getting boxed in. There's a lot of runoff areas, so definitely foresee a lot of green. I know pre-race they were asking, or worried about green flag pit stops because this is one heck of a pit road. So we might see some green flag pit stops and some exciting action.
Here we go through turns 3 and 4. The field crawls at 35 miles an hour. Pate's car makes the hard left-hand turn, and the green flag's in the air. The XCAL Racing 350 is underway. Octavio Rondoletto with a nice jump on the gun. He's going to take over first. Here we go, the battle for seconds on. Batchelder did have a hole to dive down in, but he didn't choose to take it as we head into 3 and 4. Batchelder runs wide. He gets real loose. That's going to allow Jordan Babinger to take over second. Here comes Luke Turpin up the hole underneath Brandon Barney in the number 1 car. Turpin now is up to the 3rd position. Barney trying to find a hole. There's just nothing there. Travis Sukup is to his inside. Sukup drives that car right up the hole, and Sukup is going to take 4th away. So now we're going to see if Barney can slide in. He will slide in from Ben Eaton. So finding a hole there is Brandon Barney. And Paul, we were noticing pre-race that one of Barney, there's a wreck behind him. Tyler Batchelder goes around in front of the field. That will be a caution. Caution is out as a few other guys pile into that. They're still wrecking. Looks like Bruce Helmuth is flipped over and someone's just going to drive straight through him. And
there's that driven damage model again, as we were talking about there with the unnecessary flip.
So caution is out, and we'll have the replay up for you in just one moment. That did all start with Tyler Batchelder in the number 53 car. He was on the outside lane.
Not too like sure. The 34 was loose, or the 32 was loose, actually. Yeah. Trevor Birchmeier was loose.
Trevor Birchmeier. We'll just wait to see what happened on the replay here. And the replay is up, and we see that, like Paul said, Birchmeier was racing side by side with the 53, and it looks like he came up the racetrack a little bit. The 53 might have came down. The 53, however, just spun in front of Pat Sullivan. Sullivan went around. Again, a piece of that, Bruce Helmuth. It also looks like the 83 of Tuckness got a piece of that. The 01 of John Schwartz had to go off the track to miss it. William Karp got a piece of it. And looks like Jeff Edgar had to go off the track to miss it. Overall, though, it doesn't really look like too much damage, and Race Control did deem that Trevor Birchmeier's fault, so he was given a black flag.
To say we got 2 cars lapped down early here. Jonathan Tuckness and Greg Hulls are only 2 laps down. We had some. Both of those decided to take a pit stop, and this track is so short there that even pitting into yellow will have you lose a lap.
So Holes and Tuckness both a lap down there. And let's see if we can get a word in with one of these guys who was involved in that accident there. Birchmeier was given the black flag, so let's see what happened from Birchmeier's perspective. And we're keying in the radio. Trevor Birchmeier, this is PDJ Zeller up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, Trevor, we saw you had a front row seat to the accident there, so can you just tell us what happened from your perspective?
Well, going into the race right off the bat, cold tires, people are trying to push to get up front, people getting loose, and you just you get into each other, and accidents happen on these short tracks like this.
10-4, Trevor. Well, first off, is the car okay? And then second off, how do you feel about your dropping bombs machine this week?
We got a really good setup coming into this. We're running good lap times throughout practice and throughout the heat races, and the car so far, it doesn't seem to be handling any different. The steering wheel's still straight. I got a black flag. I got a black flag coming out of that accident, so I'll be starting from the back this time and just try to work my way up front.
Real quick, Trevor, this is Paul Coleman up in the booth too. I noticed you Sorry, but that got a little loose there a couple times. And was that just cold tires, or is that just you're set up for the longer run, or what caused that looseness there? Because that was about the third time. I think you saved it miraculously twice before that.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to get into position. I got people talking to me.
10-4, Trevor. We'll let you go catch up with your team then. Thank you, Trevor, and best
I'm done.
of luck moving forward.
I'm done.
So we let Trevor Birchmere catch back up with his team there, Paul. I think your question just was too big of one there for him. You know, I think that you threw too much at him at once.
That's that teacher in me there asking those probing questions.
So we get ready to go green here as we go down, and it turns 3 and 4. It's going to be Octavio Rondoletto on the inside, Jordan Babinger on the outside. The pace car pulls off, and green flag in the air. We're down and away. Rondoletto gets a nice jump, and Turpin gets right underneath Babinger. So, we're going to have the 48 get a huge bump from Sukup. That really opens up the door for Brandon Varney in the 1 car. Varney will now drive underneath the Babinger, number 48, as Turpin takes over second. And one story I want to follow quickly, Paul, I was going to make a mention of it a moment ago. That 1 car, Brandon Varney, that's actually Kenny Tripp's 12 car. They just put duct tape over the numbers, and he's racing his uncle Kenny Tripp's car this week since Tripp is suspended. So a little bit faster car than Varney's used to getting from the mainly asphalt guys. Let's see what he can do with it this week.
Absolutely. Love to see. It's kind of like that George Russell in F1, right? Get the more powerful equipment, and he shows skills here.
Oh, he gives Luke Turpin the bumper. Turpin saves it because he's a wheelman, but that could have easily been a caution and a wreck there if it was a lesser driver than Luke Turpin, so move Varney up to second. And I'll tell you what, Paul, on lap 13 of a 350-lap race, you really do not want to make Luke Turpin's bad list.
Absolutely not. It's a 350-lap race, but, Luke, kind of like old school Jimmy Spencer, there never forgets, and expect some retaliation about 250 laps or so from right about now.
All right, so Rondoletto continues to lead. Kendrick Prayer's now up to third. We haven't talked about him a whole lot in this one. After starting 8th, he's already up to the 3rd position. Looking through the field, seeing if we got anything side-by-side going. Not really, and that's a big thing here, Paul. We won't see a lot of side-by-side racing. It's just going to be a lot of bump and runs and quick passes for positions. So we keep an eye and seeing where things are going to be happening. Looks like Trevor Birchmere is re-entering the racetrack after serving his penalty. He did lose 5 laps. Unfortunate break there for Birchmere, but it's a long event. Maybe he can pick up some spots. As it looks like the closest battle on the track right now is probably for about 11th between Stephen Rex and Jeremy Leto. Leto's all over his back bumper right now. And Paul, in these early stages of the races, tell me, as I know you're a race car driver yourself, what's going through the minds of these guys as they start to work their way through some lap traffic?
You survive. I mean, like you said, it's a 350-lap race. We're only on lap 18 of that. You want to survive. You want to make sure you don't end up in the outfield. You want to just kind of stay on the lead lap. So do what you need to do to stay on that lead lap. I don't think there's going to be a lot of cars in the lead lap towards the end, especially if we do have green flag pit stops.
10-4. One of those cars they're lapping, that's Nick Ramsay. He won his heat race. That's kind of surprising. He must have been involved in some sort of incident there because Ramsay was very quick in his heats in practice. So a tough break there for Ramsay, who's making his XCAL debut this week, driving one of Tanner Kalin's RKR cars. He's actually the 3rd driver on that team this week, along with Octavio Rondoletto and Jeremy Leto. But it looks like tough going there as he's had some sort of an issue that's mired him back towards the rear of the field. So as we look on, looking for some side-by-side racing. Here we go. Jeremy Leto's making the pass right now on Stephen Rex. Leto has gotten to the inside of Rex, and Rex is just going to heat away. So Leto will pick up another position, move him up to position number 11. And, Paul, Jeremy Leto, he's had a tough couple of weeks with XCAL. This weekend, though, he finished top 5 in his heat race to transfer to the main event, which is the first time he's done that in a little while. He's been putting down some fast practice laps, and here in the feature, he runs an 11th just outside the top 10. So far, so good this weekend for the Leto 2014.
Absolutely. No, I know he unceremoniously left the race early last week and whatnot, so we gave him an early start to focus on this. I know he's been out there practicing and doing some things, so that should pay off.
We have a battle for position going on for 17th. Matthew Bear is on the outside right now of Bruce Helmuth. Helmuth gets to the inside of Bear, and it's going to be Helmuth barely taking the position for the time being as Jonathan Tuckness looks on. Nice little battle going on here for 17th through 19th. As now looks like Tuckness is going to try to peek to the inside of the 86 car. It's the first battle on the track. Here we go, battle in front of them actually for position. We have the 53 of Tyler Batchelder. He's underneath Derek Colson. And Batchelder's actually a lap car, so he's just trying to maybe make his lap back here under green. as we do have the battle for 11 starting to heat up again. It looks like Heather Patrick's caught right up to the bumper of Jeremy Leto, so that one started to get heated. That is the first real battle for position on the racetrack that's close, as Leto is under heavy attack right now. And here we go, Patrick gets to his inside. No, he uses the bumper. Leto's going to go around right in front of a lot of cars. Leto gets it down on the apron, though, so no caution will fly. And an announcer curse there as Jeremy Leto goes around after running 11th.
PD, if I had $1 for every announcer curse, yeah, we got a caution out here.
I doubt that was for Leto. He was off the racetrack. And oh, we have Alex Gangler on his roof in turns 3 and 4. So something happened there with Alex Gangler. And actually, Paul, I'm seeing that started way in front of Gangler. That actually started with the 704 of Greg Holes, who was already a lap down. So we'll have the replay up for you in just one moment on that. And
loading the replay there, my point is why you think he's going to get strung out there. Already Leto lost a lap just by getting a little aggressive. So you can lose a lap very, very quickly at this track. So being aggressive is a very dangerous thing.
And we actually have Luke Turpin. He's down there with the team, or his crew chief actually is down there talking to Brandon Varney's crew chief. And he's just relaying the message. Luke Turpin wanted it said, hey, you know, it's a 350 lap race, right? So Turpin not happy. And we're going to try to catch a word from one of the drivers who was involved in the accident. We saw Alex Gangler upside down after that one. So we are going to get word in here with Gangler. And Alex Gangler, it's PD and Paul up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Paul and Pete.
Well, it looks like that in that accident you found yourself on the roof. So tell us what happened there.
So I saw the smoke in 3 and 4. I tried to go low, and whoever was spun around started rolling back down the track, made contact, and I think I just ended up getting rolled over there.
Well, 10-4, well, you rolled over, but luckily for you that these cars are pretty much tanks, Alex, so does the car still feel okay? Is the wheel still straight?
Yeah, there's no issues other than a little bit of front right bumper damage, but nothing really other than that. Trying to get my wave here.
All right. Well, Paul, do you have anything to ask Alex before we let him go back with his team?
No, last time I asked a question, it cost somebody a 5-lap penalty, so I'm going to abstain there.
All right. Well, thank you, Alex, for having a quick word with us. That's Alex Gangler, driver of the number 83 Gas and Go machine, or 82, excuse me. As we are under yellow here. Looks like we're going to have about 23 cars in the lead lap when we get things back going. Cars that are laps down. Greg Holes 5 laps down, Trevor Birchmere 11 laps down. As that car, things are just going from bad to worse for Birchmere. Johnny B a lap down, Pat Sullivan, Jonathan Tuckness, Bruce Helmuth, and Jeremy Leto, all 1 lap down. And actually, we had some green or under caution pit stops there, Paul, and things have shaken up front. So up front, our leader is now Kendrick Crayer in the number 66 car. Crayer's taken over the top spot. Second is Jordan Babinger. Third is going to be Luke Turpin. Fourth is Travis Sukup. Fifth will be Tyler McRae. Sixth, Jeff Edgar. Seventh, Heather Patrick. Eighth, Stephen Rex. Ninth, Aiden McConaughey. And 10th will be Marty Zakala. The first car that pitted is going to be 12th place Brandon Varney. So pretty 50-50 there. Half the field came down the pits, half of them didn't. What do you think there?
Well, one of the things I'm learning is you can pit from the lead or pit from the top 5 and not lose a lap. However, if you're at the tail end of the pack, you will lose a lap. So that's going to come into pit strategy. That's the one thing I learned. But I think if you can run 100 laps, stay out, because there probably will be another yellow the way this race is going.
So we are still under caution here, as we probably have about another pace lap or 2, I'd say, before we get things back going. The lights are off on the pace car, and the field does look fairly sorted out, so I think we might go green this time. It's going to be Crayer on the inside getting this thing restarted. On his outside will be Babinger. It feels like Babinger's been on the outside for both these restarts already. Second caution of the race, if I haven't mentioned already, Bruce Helmuth was given a black flag. The pace car makes the hard left-hand turn, and Crayer jams the gas. Green flag in the air. Kendrick Crayer gets a big jump heading into turn 1, and Luke Turpin will take over second as Jordan Babinger will slide into line in third. So it's going to be Crayer out front. They sort positions out behind him as things are going to get quickly single file as they have been all night. Sukup looks like he's going to find a hole in front of Heather Patrick, and that will make things all single file. And Paul up front, we see Kendrick Crayer in the lead. Who can forget what happened last week? The kid with 20 laps to go, was running right up Luke Turpin's bumper. He tracked down Turpin. Looks like we're going to have an epic battle for the win. Unfortunately, lap traffic really caused issues for Crayer, kind of took him out of the running. But here we go in reverse almost. You have Crayer in first and Turpin in second. And do you think there can be a driver more motivated in XCAL this week to win the race than Kendrick Crayer?
Absolutely. I think Kendrick is, he's been talking about it all week. He's been fuming. He's wanted the opportunity. But I think, in a way, this might have been the best thing ever to happen to him. You know, he gained a lot of fans, a lot of people on board with Kendrick. I'm trying to make an offer to Kendrick, actually, to drive for K2 next year. I'm not impressed. You know, as young as he is and the maturity that he showed, you know, that was the best thing that could possibly happen. I think he's definitely motivated to drive here and have a good run.
And a big thing, too, after the race, Luke Turpin actually went down to the 66's pit stall and congratulated the team on a great run. Turpin, very impressed, too. He was impressed with how clean he raced him up to that point. And Luke himself said he was a little disappointed. He said he felt like that made the race kind of an indecisive finish, you know? He said he likes when he wins and he has to beat those guys. He likes a clear-cut finish where everyone knows that he deserved to be the winner. And he himself actually didn't like what happened there. So for Kendrick Crayer, too, certainly big praise there from getting Luke Turpin to come to your pit stall and congratulate you on a great run.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the best of the best in our series, so any respect that he has. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you ask any driver, they want to win it on the track. They don't want to win it by fuel mileage or a fluke or a luck or whatever else. They want to win it by skill, and Turpin's right. He didn't get a chance to do it, so hopefully we get a chance to see that battle unfold tonight.
Well, top three all under a blanket right now. Turpin's caught right up to the bumper of Crayer's. Babinger's on his bumper. Fourth is Sukup, and everything's pretty single file right now. The top 10 is everyone's just trying to find places to race, get things sorted out. Octavio Rondoletto looking to make a pass for 11th. Nothing doing there. We'll go back up front. Still Turpin all over the bumper of Kendrick Crayer. Crayer looks like he's having a little bit of a connection issue here. Usually it's Luke Turpin, the one that's doing the blinking, but Crayer, that car has been blinking quite a bit here. And if he's not careful, race control could penalize him, so we'll have to see what happens. Turpin, though, runs right up the tailpipes, that 66 machine. And here we go, Turpin peeks to the inside, nothing doing there. Crayer's going to shut the door. One thing I'm noticing here, Paul, is that Crayer is driving pretty wide off the corner and leaving the bottom line open for Turpin as Johnny B's around in front of them. Or excuse me, that's actually Matthew Baer.
Tyler McRae's making an unscheduled pit stop here, too.
Oh, so McRae's coming down pit road. And we actually did have word before the race, Paul, that he actually was in bad shape. His back was in a lot of pain, and he took a lot of prescriptions to try to calm down his back pain. He said he wasn't 100% sure if he'd be able to go the full distance, so I'm not sure if that's what's happening, but it's a possibility. Unfortunately for McRae, though, he was up in the top 5.
That's one of those things they say racing's kind of the best medicine, but at some point you get enough pain that just no drug can help you, or one in the top 5 can help you through the pain, so you may be taking a break here.
You know, Paul, I don't know if you remember this. I bet you will remember this. But talking about that, it kind of reminds me of that race at Martinsville in NASCAR a long time ago, where Ricky Rudd had the fastest car at the track. I think it was like literally lap number 1 of a 500-lap race as air conditioning went out, and it was a 110-degree day at Martinsville. As Luke Turpin is all over the bumper of Crayer right now. Crayer's going to hang on. But Rudd had told his team, he was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to go the full distance. This was later in his career, too, so Rudd hadn't won in a little while. And about lap 50, he told the team, it's just too hot in here. I don't think I can do it, but he was leading the race. Lap 100, he said, I don't think I can do it, guys, but he just wouldn't get out of the car. And halfway through the race, this whole time, mind you, they had a backup driver on hand. He just kept telling him, I don't think I can, but he just kept doing it regardless. And actually, one point around halfway, they accidentally dumped steaming hot water down his back, meaning to dump cold water down there, because they took it from a hose that had been laying on the ground and it got heated up by the sun. And Ricky Rudd actually went to go on to win his final career race that day. And after the race in Victory Lane, they had to interview him, collapsed on his back on the ground in Victory Lane. So he was that exhausted. Here we go. Turpin gets to the inside of Crayer. Turpin gets to the inside of Crayer, and Luke Turpin will make the pass for the lead. So move Turpin up to first. Looks like Babinger will get second off of Crayer. So Crayer will drop back to third. But kind of a similar thing here for McRae, although it doesn't look like he's going to have the same result as Rudd. But still, regardless, Paul, an interesting tidbit of a story there. Certainly a gritty run for Ricky Rudd at Martinsville that day. It doesn't look like Tyler McRae is going to be able to do the same at Oxford.
Absolutely, and that's quite unfortunate for him with the fight through that pain. But at least he gets some starting points. He came out here, got some sponsor time for dropping bombs, and good time for him. Hopefully he rests up and he's back to go here at Concord next week.
Erwin Dalliner. Caution is out on the speedway, as we had something happen. It looks like it started with, it was Jeremy Leto and Cody Jones were around. And it started in front of Leto. It looks like Leto might have just arc-braked into the accident. I think it was Cody Jones that the caution started with, so we will see what happened there with Cody in just one moment as we get ready to get the replay up for you.
Sorry, that's right. I have Concord on the mind since that will be my last XCAL start of the year. Irwindale is next.
So replay is up, and here's what happened. Going into turn 3, it looks like the 28th Steven Rex just drove it in a little bit too deep into the corner, racing for 10th. He got right into the quarter panel of Cody Jones, sent Cody spinning, and also piling into that looks like the 34 of Nick Ramsay got a piece, Patrick Sullivan got a huge piece, Jeremy Leto just arc-braked into that one and got a huge piece of it, and that brought out the caution on the speedway. So caution for the third time tonight. We're going to try to catch a quick word with Cody Jones as he was involved in an accident there. We'll see what happened. Tough break there, though, regardless for Jones, as he was running up there in the top 10. And here we go, dialing in the helmet. Cody Jones, it's PDJ and Paul up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I do.
Well, Logan, unfortunately, you're up there racing in the top 10. Looks like you and Steven were just going side by side for position, and you both ended up going around. What happened there from your perspective?
I mean, I can't see that much from the inside of this cockpit, but I want to say I got turned. It could have very well been my fault. I'm actually looking back at the replay. But it looks like my left rear's hanging out of the car a little bit, so that's no good.
All right, well, hopefully the car doesn't look too damaged. So, Logan, before that happened, or excuse me, Cody, before that happened, how was the car feeling? You think you had a top 10 car? And also, is the steering wheel still straight?
No, it is not straight in. The back's crabbing out. And yeah, it just seems like Steven wasn't as low as I thought he was going to be, and we just touched a little bit and then kind of got knocked into, oh, wow, yeah, the 24 got me good. But just a sucky situation. I hope to be back out here in 7 minutes.
All right, well, Cody, thank you for the quick word, and best of luck to you and your team moving forward.
Thank you, sir.
Petey, while you were doing that interview, I got a report. Speaking of people without straight steering wheels, Derek Olson unfortunately had a unfortunate run-in, kissed the curb, however you want to say that, and he is looking like he's going to be facing the next 30 minutes repairing his car. So poor Derek Olson, again, a guy who if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. Just really, really heartbreaking season for him.
Thankfully, this isn't the real season, so next season, hopefully for him, it will go better. But yeah, I actually saw what happened there, Paul. Looks like he drove over the curb, and it actually ripped the oil pan right off of his car. So Derek Olson, like you said, if he didn't have bad luck, he would have no luck at all. How unlucky can you get? You do need the oil pan to drive.
Definitely do need that, but that's the other thing. We really didn't have to address that, but this curb is pretty deadly. This is not like the Martinsville curb that you can kind of ride over. This one, if you end up getting with it, it's probably gonna send you to the pits for a long time.
All right, so we're going to get one lap to green here as Trevor Birchmere is our first retiree. That car is officially taking it behind the fence. Here's your updated running order. And first, it's going to be Brandon Varney. And second will be Ben Eaton. Third will be Nick Ramsay. Third will be William Karp. Fourth will be Nick Ramsay. Fifth will be Octavio Rondoletto. Sixth, Luke Turpin. Seventh, Aiden McConaughey. Eighth, Jordan Babinger. Ninth, Kendrick Crayer. And 10th, Heather Patrick. Here we go through turns 3 and 4. The iRacing Ford Mustang makes that hard left-hand turn. And a quick start there. Green flag in the air. Varney gets the jump, and Eaton's going to slide in second. So Eaton now up to second. Third is going to be Karp as Ramsay continues to race to his outside. Looks like Octavio Rondoletto will make a hole for his teammate, so Ramsay will get to slide in the line. Ramsay now rides right up the bumper of William Karp. Karp looks like he's trying to find a way around Eaton. Eaton goes up the racetrack. Karp thinks about sticking the nose in. Nothing doing there. And Paul, actually, William Karp won his second career XCAL Super Truck race earlier today. He won the Super Truck race from Oxford. So if nothing else, we know that William Karp does know his way around the speedway. And in 2 of the last 3 weeks, he's finished second. So William Karp really has been as hot as anyone in XCAL league.
Absolutely, as we have, I believe it was a 16, I think somebody was spinning down low on the inside there. But yeah, Karp has been very, very impressive, definitely becoming one of the top names here in our series.
He has been so impressive as of late. A lot of great runs for William Karp as he right now runs in the 3rd spot, although he has Nick Ramsay all over his bumper. Ramsay looking to shake it up from the 3rd spot. As here they go in turns 3 and 4. Karp's going to hold on to the spot. They have Eaton directly in front of them. Up front, though, it is Brandon Varney, and Not for nothing, Paul, but Brandon Varney actually has raced here at Oxford in real life. That whole mainly asphalt team, they're from the Maine area, and most of those guys have raced here in real life. Ben Eaton in second, he actually is a spotter for one of the best super late model drivers from Oxford, and so these mainly asphalt guys have a lot of real life experience here. And you know, whenever you race on a track on iRacing that you also race at in real life, you really want to have an impressive performance. So I'm sure a lot of pressure on these guys today to really bring these cars home in victory lane.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you get the best of both worlds there. Varney, who has got a car upgrade in iRacing this weekend, and he's on a track that he's actually real life familiar with. Something with that Poland Spring Water up there in Maine really also probably energizes these guys as well to be back racing in front of some hometown fans. One thing before I throw it back to you, though, I wanted to give a shout out through Nick Ramsay. Remember we were talking about caution beforehand. He was a lap down, and he was able to get actually his lap back and run here in the top 5. So shows that if you do get a lap down early, it is possible to get it back. So these guys like Stephen Rusk, Jeff Edgar, Jeremy Leto, Jose Gaudino, they're not out of this race by any means.
No, and Nick Ramsay, like I said, this is XCAL debut this week. He's actually real-life friends with our broadcaster, Tanner Kalin. And Nick races, I believe it's late models up in the Canada area, a very good driver up there, making his XCAL debut. I'm curious to see how he's going to perform in this first race for him. Another guy who's making their first race tonight that I'm curious to see how they're going to do is the 83, that is Jonathan Tuckness. He runs in 13 right now. I've raced with him a lot in iRacing. He runs a lot of official stuff. A very quick guy there, but you know what they say, Paul, you can be an 8,000 iRating guy, as actually Tuckness in the 25 make a little bit of contact going into the corner, but you can be a very high iRating guy and come to an XCAL race and finish last, because the same things that it takes to win a 40-lap shootout at Iowa, it takes a completely different set of skills to win a 350-lap slugfest from Oxford.
Absolutely, and that was one of the things, you know, you look at a guy like Nick Ramsay, who won, was good in a heat race, that's only, 40 laps, a short run here. This completely is a different strategy than even our heat races, so it is interesting to see how these guys play out on a long-run strategy.
Looks like so far, though, everyone minding their P's and Q's, really no one making anything too aggressive here early on. Ramsay gets into the bumper now. Just as I say that, he gives the bumper to the 08 at Carp. Carp does a good job keeping Ramsay behind him, so Ramsay will still be mired into the 4th. Ramsay has his teammate, Octavio Rondoletto, all over his rear bumper right now, as Jordan Babinger also waits in tow. Kendrick Crayer at the end of that line, and then you have Luke Turpin mired back a little ways, as still 17 cars on the lead lap here, as everyone just kind of seems to be taking it easy for the time being. Nothing too crazy going on. No side-by-side racing that I can see on the racetrack right now, so we'll keep our eyes right up here on this battle for 3rd. Ramsay all over the bumper of Carp right now, and I almost feel like Ramsay is a little bit quicker than Carp right now. You got to think if that 34 car can get around him, he might have a shot at getting up there and maybe challenging Eaton for 2nd. Up front, though, it is all Varney and Eaton, as those two have started to open up a little bit of a gap on the field, as Varney himself personally has opened up a good little gap on everyone else. So they go around the lap car of Pat Sullivan. William Carp still in 3rd, as Ramsay actually got a little loose, so Carp is going to get some breathing room for 3rd. William Carp will put a little distance between him and Nick Ramsay. Ramsay under heavy attack from behind right now by the 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. Rondoletto runs right in his tire tracks. And as this run goes on, we're going to start to learn who is the better long run setup and who's the better short run setup. And that's going to be a big key here today, is going to be long run speed, because I expect to see some long runs here, Paul. We talked about before the race, when cars spin, they're either spinning into the infield where there's not going to be a caution, or they're spinning into the outfield where there's not going to be a caution. Very rarely is there an accident where the cars are actually parked in the racing grid. So cautions will probably be far and few between. As Nick Ramsay pulls down in front of Octavio Rondoletto. Rondoletto's almost going to spin, and Octavio Rondoletto spins. Caution is out. So caution on the speedway for the 3rd time tonight on lap 81.
Can we call that an announcer curse when you said there won't be a caution and there's a caution?
I think, Paul, at this point, like, anything I say, the opposite's going to happen. So I should probably just not talk at all.
That's quite unfortunate. Our crack research team was giving me some information on Nick Ramsay too just a minute ago before he had that incident. That
he blew his motor.
He did, which is completely unfortunate, because that's at least 35 minutes in the pits for the trip.
All right, so that will bring out the caution, as Ramsay lost the motor. A terribly unfortunate break there for him. He lost it right in front of his teammate Octavio Rondoletto too, and Rondoletto got hard nose damage with the outside wall. So, and Jeremy Leto's already had some hard nose damage. So those RKR cars, Paul, all of their motors are in jeopardy here.
It'll be an expensive weekend there for Tanner.
It certainly will be. So we are going to try to catch a word in with Nick Ramsay if we can here, as he's lost the motor. We're going to try to pull him up here really quick.
Let's set the table really quick. I was going to say really quick before we get to that interview that he actually won his last real-life race. He raced at Peterborough, Ontario in the Bone Stocks and led wire to wire September 26th. So
13 wins this year for Nick Ramsay in real life. Unfortunately, an XCAL win tonight will not be on the table for him. We're going to try to dial up his helmet, though, as he and his team are evaluating the car. Nick Ramsay, it's Petey and Paul up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
Well, Nick, unfortunately, you had the car up there in the top 5. Looked like you were riding around, Biden, your team. We're running right there in 4th, right behind 3rd place. Tell us what happened. The motor just let go on you there?
Yeah, the first 50 laps there, it seemed like every caution was right in front of me. I guess just too much front-end damage and nothing we could do.
Well, unfortunate break there for you. Takes you out of the running tonight. But tell us, Nick, can we expect to see that car on the track in coming weeks? Because it looked like you had quite a bit of speed. I mean, you won your heat race. We're up in the top 5. Certainly were a contender before that motor blow.
Absolutely. These RKR cars were fast every session we were here. So absolutely you can see us in the future.
All right.
Hey, yep. I got one question for you, Nick. Our crack staff here has told us that you actually won 13 real-life bone stock races in Peterborough. And now those are typically 40 laps. So kind of a double-edged question here. What's the difference between the preparation for a 40-lap race versus a long race? And then how does the running those translate here into the XCAL series, running those real-life races?
The big difference, I'd say, is setting up the car. We spent quite a bit of time trying to get these things ready for the long run. But really, for me, this would have been the longest race I had been in the VR. It was actually already giving me a bit of a headache.
All right, Nick. Well, thank you for joining us, and better luck next week, my friend. Tough break today.
Thank you. We'll see you then.
All right, that's Nick Ramsay, driver of the number 34, as his race has unfortunately ended prematurely. We're getting ready things get back underway here. Here's your updated running order as some of the leaders did pit. First place is Kendrick Crayer, second place Jordan Babinger, third Luke Turpin, fourth Tether Patrick, fifth will be Travis Stukup, sixth will be Marty Zakalis, seventh will be Ben Eaton, eighth will be Brandon Varney, ninth will be William Carpin, 10th will be John Schwartz as we get ready to get things back underway here. And looks like we still have about 21 cars in contention. Quite a few cars have gotten some early damage and trapped laps down. Tyler McRae, 42 laps down. Looks like he's out of it. Derek Colson still on the pits, 33 laps down. Cody Jones has gotten back out there, but he's 28 laps down. And Pat Sullivan sits in the pits, 11 laps down. So kind of a race of attrition here early on, Paul. But at a short little 0.38 mile bull ring like Oxford, you can't be too surprised.
Absolutely not. Like I said, these guys early on, but again, we're going to get that green flag run at some point. I promise you that. PD, I got a question for you to mull over. You can answer this at the next thing. Knowing the XCAL 350 laps, would you actually do VR for that whole time, or could you stand it?
I don't think I could, but I guess Nick races on VR all the time, so for him, maybe it's a little bit more acceptable. I don't think I could do VR for a heat race, though, Paul. The pace car makes the hard left-hand turn, green flag in the air. Crayer gets to the jump, so Crayer takes the top spot. Turpin is going to get around Babinger for second, as everyone's going to try to sort themselves out here. But just quickly to end that thought, Paul, I don't think I could do VR in general. For 350 laps, that would just be too much sauce for PDJ.
Absolutely. I mean, as much spinning as we do in these things, as the 11 goes around, as I mentioned that would cause way too many edits.
Yep, Sean Patrick's gone around, so tough break there for the 11 car that was running up in 7th. Looks like he got that car back running, though, so shouldn't be much worse for wear. As up front, the leaders, what's crazy here, Paul, is, like I said, only 0.38 miles. We've only run like 1 or 2 laps. The leaders are already starting to get into lap traffic. When you put 30 street stocks on a track this small, you're going to get into lap traffic quicker than you'd probably like to.
Absolutely. When these cars were fresh, brand new, when they were running lap times within 0.6 of each other, but now that we got some damage and things of that nature, and they're 1 or 2 seconds back, it only takes 5-6 laps, and you're right on that traffic.
Here we go, our leaders quickly approaching Johnny B and Jeff Edgar. Kendrick Crayer is going to have to try to find his way around the 062 cars. Johnny B respectfully will heed way, so Johnny B gets up out of the groove. And now Kendrick Crayer will take advantage there. Second place, still Luke Turpin, as he makes his way around the lap car. having a good run today. I'm knocking on wood because I really do not want to announce or jinx this car. But the 45 of Travis Sukup, he's running up in 4th right now, Paul, this whole race for the first 353 laps. I've seen Sukup right near the top 5, and a really good day so far for the 45 Travis Sukup team.
Absolutely, and unlike the other car that starts with the 45 that doesn't really have a sponsor, we really got to get Travis to get a good run there, so see if we can attract some sponsorship.
I was going to say, the all-black car looks like he could really use some sponsorship, so Sukup trying to impress the sponsors today as he makes his way under the lap car of Jeff Edgar. So Sukup will sustain the 4th spot now, as right up his bumper is the number 1 of Barney, and Barney is now going to make his way underneath Jeff Edgar. Looking back a little bit deeper in the field, looks like in 6th right now we have Marty Zakala. Also a great run for Marty. Marty running right up there in 6th right now. And, Marty's ran a few races with us, Paul. He started and parked his first 3 XCAL starts. Today he said, I think I'm ready. He wanted to do the start and park just to kind of learn some of the names in the field, learn how different guys race in different situations. Today was the day that he decided he was going to, for the first time, run a full feature event at Oxford. And so far, so good. Running up in 6th right now. That 52 RSN car having a good run.
That's a bold strategy. Oxford definitely would not have been my pick to run the first race, but very interesting to see how it plays out, especially as we get later in the run, as those arms start getting tired about 150 laps in or so, to see if he's able to maintain that pace.
And we have race control muting all sorts of radios around here. Bruce Helmoth has had his radio disabled. Stephen Rex has had his radio disabled. Jonathan Tuckness has had his radio disabled. Looks like Marty Zakala had his radio disabled. So it looks like a lot of drivers getting in race control's ear right now, and race control is just having absolutely none of it. Up front, though, it is still Kendrick Prayer in the top spot. Luke Turpin runs shortly behind him. Jordan Babinger in 3rd. All single file top 3 have started to pull away a little bit from 4th Travis Sukup. 4th and 5th kind of run under blanket right now. We have had a change in position for 6th. Ben Eaton has just gotten around Marty Zakala, so Zakala will now be back to 7th, as he has a little bit of gap between him and his teammate John Schwartz. Behind Schwartz, a good battle going on. Octavio Rondoletto has moved up to 9th, and Rondoletto works to the outside of the lap car, Bruce Helmuth. And Octavio Rondoletto actually powers around the outside of Helmuth, so move Rondoletto now into 9th, and absolute power move there, Paul. You can't understate how hard it is to make a pass on the high side of this little track.
Oh, it's darn near impossible. I've tried it, and every time I've tried to make the move, you get a guy sliding up, and it's easier to end up in the outfield than it is to make a pass. So that's incredibly impressive. One other thing I was thinking about here is that, for a single lane or a single group racetrack, though, this really does have a lot of room on the outside. So passing lap traffic, as long as you have lap traffic that in heat way, shouldn't really ever hold up the leaders or have an instant situation that we have as we have a yellow on the track.
We do have a yellow, and Jeremy Leto has gone around in front of the leaders. So tough break there for Leto, as that'll be our 4th caution of the night, I believe. So we'll see what happened there as that caution started with Jeremy Leto. And Tanner Kalin and RKR Racing, it looks like they're going to have to be opening up the checkbook after this one, Paul. A lot of their cars are already getting a lot of damage. Replay is up, and here we go. Jeremy Leto and Matthew Bear were racing for 18th in turns number 3 and 4. And it looks like Bear just thought he had a hole that wasn't quite there. Bear drove it in, got to the quarter panel of Leto, sent Leto around. And then Tyler Batchelder just absolutely plowed into Jeremy Leto there. And a ton of damage there on the front of Batchelder's car. And now the Leto 24, even more beat up than it already was.
One upside for Tanner's race team there, though, is they are able to pay in Canadian dollars. And the Canadian dollar is growing stronger, worth $1.28 to the U.S. dollar now.
All right, well, we're going to try to get a quick interview down on pit road with Derek Colson. We haven't had a chance to talk to Derek Colson much this season because the luck hasn't been great for him, but I see him standing there trying to help his team put a new oil pan on the car. And Derek Colson, so tell us what happened there that caused this car to get so much damage on pit road. Oh, well, Paul, actually, we were trying to talk to Derek there, but as we came down with the microphone, he just gave us a really angry look and shooed us away, so I don't think Derek had much interest in talking to you and I right now.
No, when your mind's on fixing an oil pan, I mean, if he can get back out there the way some of these guys are dropping out there, he can gain a couple spots. I know we're not racing for points yet at this point, but, any practice to get around here, because we are going to come back to this track next season, so let's finish it up.
So we're actually going to take a 30-second timeout for station identification. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back on Telesign TV. And welcome back to Telesign TV, as we're about to get back going here as a few wave around cars get around the pace car. As we've actually had a spin under caution, Paul. Put that on your XCAL bingo board. Marty Zakala has spun under caution as he was getting the wave around. So a tough break there for Zakala in his first full XCAL start, as he got a little squirrely there under caution.
He's going to learn how those tires cool down really quick under yellow.
So here's your updating running order. We have 14 cars on the lead lap, and first is going to be Kendrick Crayer, second Ben Eaton, third will be Luke Turpin, fourth Octavio Rondoletto, fifth is going to be, things are kind of weird right now, so I'm waiting for them to sort out. It looks like fifth is going to be Brandon Varney, sixth will be Jordan Babinger, seventh will be William Karp, eighth will be Aiden McConney, ninth will be Alex Gangler, and 10th will be John Schwartz, as we just have 13 cars in the lead lap, excuse me. The other 3 cars in the lead lap are Stephen Rex, Travis Sukup, and Matthew Barris. Actually, Sean Patrick looks like has gone around under yellow, and a very hectic yellow to say the least here so far.
Yeah, I've been watching, trying to figure that out. Unfortunately, Sean there just got end of line penalty. That might be the best thing for him, as he really struggling with the car control.
We'll have to see. Luke Turpin will be restarting from third, Paul, and one thing about him, this week in practice, the Turpin team was kind of off on the setup, I would say. Turpin had some speed, he finished second in his heat race, that car was competitive all weekend, as Luke Turpin typically will be. However, it wasn't the usual dominance we're used to with Luke Turpin, you know, he just wasn't up front, dominating the race, having the time of his life like usual in the heat races, wasn't putting down crazy fast times in practice. And it was kind of one of them weeks where Luke Turpin looked kind of human. I mean, he's still running up there in the top 5, but certainly this week for Luke Turpin, it's going to be a race that he has to earn. He's not the easily dominant car, I would say.
Amazing for a pedestrian day for Luke Turpin, or what would be a great day for any driver is a pedestrian day for Luke Turpin. He's got those Lewis Hamilton style expectations, but yeah, don't count him out. I think he's got a good chance to get over here.
Green flag in the air, and Kendrick Crayer absolutely blows the doors off Ben Eaton. Ben Eaton gets shuffled out of the way. Ben Eaton's going to go from about 2nd to 13th. Tough break there for Eaton, and I think he has missed a shift on that start, because, I mean, Kendrick Crayer absolutely blew the doors off him there, caught him sleeping. So Crayer's up to first, second is Turpin now, as running right on Turpin's bumpers, Brandon Varney in third, Aiden McConney up to fourth. And Paul, actually, McConney in the number 85, that is the first time that a Ryan Soper racing car has been on track in a month. And so for the RS racing team, they had celebratory juice boxes before the races. Luke Turpin gets loose. Varney's going to take over second. Turpin will now be back to third. Kind of weird there, but Varney does take over the position. And now McConney is going to drop back to fifth. But for the Ryan Soper racing team, I know that they were just very excited to finally get a car back in the field again this week, and now they have one running in the top 5.
You know, Ryan's sitting at home watching this, getting very excited. He might even be chiming in here on the chat screen on the YouTube. We might have to check into that. But yeah, very exciting run here for Aiden. Good run all the way from, 26 starting position. So highest mover in the field so far.
All right, so McConaughey runs right on the bumper right now of Octavio Rondoletto, and he's maybe looking to make it up to 4th position as these guys all run nose to tail. It almost looks like Luke Turpin let Brandon Varney go whenever he let him get around him. And the only thing I can think, Paul, is that maybe Luke is expecting another caution and wanted to start on the inside rather than the outside. And the other thing I thought is maybe as Luke Turpin gets loose again, he's going to let the 77 go. Never mind, Paul, that 454 might just be handling like garbage right now, as Rondoletto's going to get around Turpin now on the high side. 454 car, it's getting deadly loose off of 2 right now.
Just have a bad set of tires or a mismatched set of tires or something going on there, because yeah, it's a handful. But I don't see any damage or anything like that, so bad tires.
Must be bad tires, because he is just struggling with that car right now. Rondoletto's now up to 3rd as Turpin's going to go around the lap car of Jeremy Leto. McConaughey still runs in 5th right on the bumper of Turpin. And for Turpin, though, no reason to panic. You know, we're not even the halfway point in this race yet, and he's still running up there in the top 5, so he has a lot of time to figure out what the issue is with that thing. But certainly something to keep an eye on there is that's like 3 or 4 times now coming off of turn 2. That car is just, you know, Paul, you say bad set of tires, but the way it's getting loose off of 2, it almost looks like there's something broken in the suspension of that thing. Like, it's really weird the way it's getting loose off the corner.
Sure, he might have run over a curb or something like that, knocked the toe in, possibly, too. Those curves, like I said, could get deadly, and you can't really see the toe from the angle.
Well, nonetheless, Luke's still driving the car in 4th, and if there is some damage, it looks like he's figured out how to race with it. I think he's got it a little bit better under control now. He's firmly in 4th right now, pulling a little bit away from McConney. He is going to set his sights up on Rondoletto and Varney as they get started racing for 2nd and 3rd. Up front, though, Kendrick Crayer's checked out. He has a 1.6 second advantage on the rest of the field. And right now, Paul, Crayer is running lap times about a 10th faster than anyone else. So a pair of impressive races in a row here for Kendrick Crayer. As coming into the season, he ran with us about 2 or 3 months ago.
Oh, we got the 85 spinning.
The 85's around of Aiden McConaughey. Tough break there for McConaughey. He's going to save it, and he's got to be careful not to go over that curb. He's going to keep it underneath the curb. Smart move there. McConaughey will rejoin the groove, and he will come back out in 9th, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been for McConaughey there. But to what I was saying there about Crayer, he ran us about 2 or 3 months ago. He was certainly not a front runner, though. He was a borderline top 5 car. He returned to us recently. It looks like he's got some more racing experience under his belt. And just over these races the last 2 weeks, I think that Kendrick Crayer's made it known that, hey, this kid's not just going to be here to be a field filler. This kid is going to be here to contend for wins. And if he can have the maturity to put together a full season, he might just compete for a championship in 21.
Absolutely. I mean, he's my favorite for Rookie of the Year, no doubt. Going forward, like I said, K2's made him an offer. Still waiting to hear back. Obviously, we still have that offer out to Luke Turpin as well. But love to see Kendrick Crayer. If I could buy stock in him right now, I'd certainly do so.
Well, he had a big lead, but lap traffic held him up a little bit. Brandon Varney now right up his bumper. So Varney and Rondoletto run 2nd and 3rd right behind Kendrick Crayer. The battle for the lead is heating up. Crayer goes up the racetrack. That opens up the door for Varney. Varney sticks the nose in. Varney gets underneath Crayer, and Brandon Varney will take over the top spot. So now Crayer will come down and cut the nose off of Rondoletto. Crayer will slip into 2nd. And, I'm going to say cut the nose off a lot tonight. Don't think that's a dirty move. At Oxford, you have to cut the nose off because, Paul, if you just don't cut the nose off and let all these guys go underneath you, you'll go from 1st to about 15th real quick. Cutting the nose off is a necessary move at Oxford.
Absolutely. It's just like Daytona in the draft. If you get yourself outside, you're just going to be freight trained. So you got to get back in line as soon as you possibly can.
And now we're going to have Rondoletto go around Crayer for 2nd, and caution is out on the speedway once again. Yellow flag is out, trying to see what happened. Looks like we have Alex Gangler once again involved. I see the Gangler 82 around. As I'm going to try to see what happened there. I do believe the accident started with Alex Gangler, though. So, and you see the replay now going into 1 and 2. Pat Sullivan just kind of drove it underneath Alex Gangler, got into his quarter panel, and sent Alex around. 16 went spinning and got into Bruce Helmuth a little bit. And it looks like a couple other cars just checked up for that. Really no harm, no foul. But caution will be out on the speedway once again. So we're going to try to maybe catch a quick word with one of these front runners. And actually, you know what? We're going to wait for Brandon Varney. We're going to wait till he's done with his pit stop, and then we'll get a word in here with Varney. I would be curious to see what he has to say about the car as Pat Sullivan gets a black flag.
I'd love to hear his comparative on real-life Oxford versus iRacing Oxford.
All right, so it looks like Varney's gotten in and out of pit road. So we are going to try to dial up his helmet now that we know it's we're not going to be disturbing him too much. And here we go. Sorry. We don't have a great system for dialing up helmets. It's always like you have to turn these weird knobs and find the right channel, and I think I found it. Brandon Varney, it's Petey and Paul up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Brandon, early on in this race, the car's been looking good. You've been running up near the top 3 pretty enough all night long. You've led quite a few laps in this one so far. Tell me, Brandon, do you think that real-life experience here at Oxford is kind of transferred over to this race?
Sure, definitely in the steering and be able to set up and pass people where I want to definitely gives me a little bit of an advantage.
Well, Brandon, we see you're running the, it looks like you have Kenny Tripp's car, and Kenny's normally a front runner, so it looks like you might have got one of the better, mainly asphalt cars this week, as you have Kenny's car, it would appear. Tell me, do you think driving Kenny's car has helped you at all this week, too?
Hey, having that number 12 on the right side helps everybody, I can tell you that.
All right, Brandon, well, Paul, do you have anything you'd like to ask Brandon before we send him back?
No, you did a masterful job. That was one thing I was curious about, is how real-life racing translates over to iRacing.
All right, well, Brandon, best of luck moving forward. Hopefully you can continue up the good run.
Thank you, sir.
Brandon Varney, driver of the number 1 car, currently sits P6. So after this yellow, here's an updated running order. First is going to be Octavio Rondoletto. Second is going to be Luke Turpin. Third is going to be Jordan Babinger. Fourth is going to be Stephen Rex. Fifth will be Marty Zakala. Sixth will be Brandon Varney. Seventh will be Aiden McConaughey. 8th will be William Karp, 9th will be John Schwartz, and 10th will be Alex Gangler, as we have 16 cars now on the lead lap, and only 16 cars really within striking distance. Jeff Edgar's 2 laps down, Jeremy Leto's 3 laps down. Getting trapped down a lap at Oxford, though, Paul, is a death sentence, because this track is so short. Once you get 1 lap down, you end up getting 2 laps down, then you get 3 laps down, as we're going to go green this time. Actually, we're not. A late delay there. But, Paul, this is one of those tracks where you can't afford to go a lap down because it really is a death sentence here.
Absolutely. I mean, going 1 lap down, as we saw, a couple drivers recovered early from that. But really, if you look at getting more than 1 lap down, it's going to be pretty impossible to get that back. So looking at Jeff Edgar, Jeremy Leto, 2 laps down, 3 laps down, that's really the max. Any of these other guys, I think their race is done for the night.
For certain. So this time by, we will be getting the green flag. It will be Rondoletto on the inside, Luke Turpin on the outside, and Jordan Babinger in third. Here we come through 3 and 4. The iRacing Ford Mustang drops down, and green flags in the air. We're down and away. Rondoletto with a nice jump. Turpin does have the hole to slide into second. He will. So Turpin's going to be up to second position now as he rides right on the bumper of Octavio Rondoletto. Third, Babinger does get through, and now we have a battle on for fourth. The inside Marty Zakala races of Stephen Rex. Zakala on that inside of the racetrack trying to take the position away, and he will. So Zakala now up to fourth. Heck of a night so far for Marty, as Aiden McConaughey is going to follow him through, move McConaughey up to fifth. So top 5 right now. Some guys having some really good runs tonight. Rex just looking for a hole to slide down in. He won't find it. Karp sticks the nose in for 6th. Karp does get to the inside now of Rex. Karp continues to try to mount himself up towards the front of this field. Shortly behind Karp is going to be Brandon Varney, who we just talked to recently. Varney in that 1 car. He's probably been the fastest car tonight. He just needs to get that track position back as he works to the inside now of Stephen Rex. That is for the 7th position, as William Karp has picked up 6th from Rex. Up front, the battle for the lead has come down.
Luke Turpin bobbled there to get Babinger second place.
I'll tell you, Paul, I really think there's something to miss on that 454. I mean, yes, there's going to be drivers make mistakes. They bobble every now and again. But let's be honest, how often do you see Luke Turpin make a mistake, yet alone like 10 in a race? I think there's something to miss on the 454.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way, maybe one, Luke might make 1 after a long green flag run or something. It's tired or something like that. But yeah, 10 in a row is something's amiss here.
And off the corner, that car it settles weird into the racetrack. I really think there's something up in the suspension of that machine. I'm not sure. But nonetheless, Babinger's up to second. Third is Turpin. Fourth is still Zakala. And the battle for 6th and 7th has calmed down as Karp's taken over 6th. And now 7th is going to be Varney as he runs right on the bumper of the 0-8. Battle for 8th and 9th is starting to heat up a little bit. John Schwartz is caught up to the bumper of that 28 of Stephen Rex. So the battle for 8th and 9th could be heating up here in a moment. The final car in your top 10 right now is Jonathan Tuckness, who goes around. Let's see if the caution flies. It will. Caution is out as Tuckness spins out. So caution is out on the racetrack as Jonathan Tuckness in his XCAL debut, filling in for Kyle Streichar, has been involved in an accident. We will see what happened on the replay in just one moment. And the replay's up, and look at here. Tuckness was actually making a pass on the high side, an impressive move. He just made his way up to 10th. And then coming off the corner, it looks like he might have came down a little bit on the 25 of Bruce Helmuth. Helmuth might have came up a little bit. To me, Paul, that looks pretty 50-50. I think that was both of those guys just kind of meeting in the middle there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with that one. Yeah, definitely. I think 50-50.
All right, so we are going to try to catch a quick word with Jonathan Tuckness as he was involved in that accident. Let's see if we can tune in his radio. And here we go. Jonathan Tuckness, it's PD and Paul up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
PD, I'm going to do my best to keep my words adult here.
10-4, Jonathan. Well, looks like you were involved in a little bit of an incident there, so in the most PG-13 way you can, tell us what happened.
I tried to tell Race Control earlier that the 25 car was kind of a little bit of a weapon, and I tried to pass him on the outside again, and the first time he put me off into the dirt, this time he just wrecked me, and I knew it was going to happen. He's laps down, and kind of frustrating, man. Just keep digging.
Well, keep digging for sure, Jonathan. And on a little bit more of a less somber note, your car's been looking pretty quick tonight. We've seen you quickly pick up positions. Tell us, how do you feel about the 83 machine tonight? Do you think if you're able to find your way up to the front of the field as you currently sit in second right now, you'll have the speed to stay up there and maybe race for this win?
Yeah, I really hope so. We've got a little bit of damage, but we're digging. I'm not sure. Hope so, Petey. I appreciate it.
10-4, all right. Well, we'll let you catch up with your team. That's Jonathan Tuckness, driver of the number 83. As you could certainly hear the little bit of frustration there on his voice, Paul. He was a little red in the helmet, I would say.
Absolutely. We got tempers flaring, and it's not even the halfway point yet. Business is going to be picking up here shortly.
All right, so here's your updated running order as we're going to go through things. First place is Kendrick Crayer. Second place is going to be Jonathan Tuckness. Third place is going to be William Karp. Fourth place is going to be Brandon Varney. Fifth will be Aiden McConaughey. Sixth will be Octavio Rondoletto. Seventh will be Marty Zakala. Eighth, John Schwartz. Ninth, Matthew Baer. And 10th will be Luke Turpin. And Paul, really in this race, it hasn't really felt like it's been a wreck fest, but we've just had like consistent cautions once every 20 laps, it feels like.
Absolutely. It's hard to, for the in the 86 there, I think, was the 86 just spun, almost taking up the 11. But yeah, it's been really hard to get some rhythm going for these drivers. I think they need to get a long green flag run under them to just get some rhythm to this race.
Oh my goodness, as we see Jeremy Leto make it up the middle to go for his wave around. Oh no, Jeremy Leto goes up the middle. And that was tough there. And Paul, you have to know Race Control is going to be yelling at him because the number one Race Control says every week is that lap cars need to go around the high side. And I'm sure that Race Control Aaron Hillbush is not too happy about that.
Absolutely, but there's a danger in going on the high side of this track because I've seen, you try to make a third lane and all of a sudden the third lane you're in that outfield. So very dangerous territory up there.
So next time, actually, nope, we get one more delay, so we are going to be under caution. Paul's, we're 155 laps, though, quickly getting to halfway. Any big surprises for you so far in this one?
Biggest surprise right now, the Dallas Cowboys are actually beating the Baltimore Ravens 3-0 towards the end of the first quarter. I appreciate everybody who's tuning in to XCAL instead of watching tonight's NFL thing, but I'd say the other thing, Tuckness running second place after qualifying towards the end, and just the sheer number of cautions, I thought we'd have longer flags. But yeah, Cowboys leading.
So have I. This has definitely been a little bit disappointing in the caution department so far, I would say. I think everyone had fairly high expectations for this race, although it seems like that's how it goes usually, right? The races that you're like, this is going to be bad, they usually go good, and the ones you think are going to be good go bad. Here we go, the pace car pulls off, green flag in the air, we're down and away, it's going to be Crayer pulling off the advantage, it's going to be Tuckness now trying to slide into second, nothing there. Karp able to get around the low side, he's underneath Tuckness. Tuckness races for that second position hard with Karp. There is a hole for Tuckness if he wants to take it, and Tuckness now on the outside of the 08, he will find the hole, so Tuckness is going to be able to slide into third. And Paul, moving forward, I'm just going to start calling him Tuck because that's his nickname. Everyone calls him Tuck. We're going to start calling him Tuck too. So Tuck slides into, or should I say Tuck tucked into third now, as Brandon Varney makes the pass for fourth on Aiden McConaughey. Everyone getting single filed out. And one thing I will say, Paul, despite the cautions, the restarts have been pretty good so far. It seems like right away in the run, everyone is able to get everything sorted out in single file pretty quickly.
Absolutely, these guys know that, again, we've seen a couple times where, second places ended up in 13th, but they didn't. So these guys know that rather than battling out for a spot early, getting down to below there. But, PD, I have a question for you. If we decided to create a rule named after Mr. Tuckness, would that then be called the Tuck Rule?
Oh, man. Paul, I'll tell you what, usually your corny jokes, I have to, force the fake laugh. That one was pretty good. That was a good one there as Tuck gets pushed out of the way. Brandon Varney goes to his inside for third. Varney underneath Tuck. He is going to take away the third position. Paul with definitely the joke of the week right there.
Let's hope he's not a Raiders fan.
Yeah, for sure. I can tell you this much. I am not a Raiders fan. They're probably my least favorite team in the NFL, so there's your random PDJ tidbit for the week. Up front, it's still Kendrick Crayer, though. Shortly behind him, William Karp has had a quietly good day. We have had a pass for fifth. Octavio Rondoletto just got around Aiden McConaughey, so moved Rondoletto up into the fifth spot now. As everyone's still single file. The closest battle for position is probably 10th and 11 as Jordan Babinger's all over the back bumper with his teammate Steven Rex. 14 cars on the lead lap right now, so 14 cars out there still dueling. Update on some cars. Derek Colston, he has gotten back out there 97 laps down. Cody Jones is back out there 27 laps down, as Tyler Batchelder. A car that has taken it into the pits, though, the 062 of Johnny B. He's sitting in the pits currently 25 laps down. Not sure what happened there to him. They were trying to fix that car. As up front, the battle for second is heating up. We have the one car of Brandon Varney all over the bumper of William Karp right now. And we have had a lot of radios muted. We just had Alex Gangler's radio muted. Jeremy Leto got his muted not too long ago. Race Control is not playing games tonight, Paul.
Absolutely not. Like I said, well, we got some drivers that were heated earlier and whatnot, but this is a tough track. This is a track that requires a lot of attention, and definitely the ability of Race Control needs to be able to communicate with drivers, and when drivers are yelling at each other, that's not really helping Race Control's case. So learn to be wise and only speak when needed, and if you speak unnecessarily, you will get that mute. I wish I had that mute button as a teacher. It's so great.
It would be. So up front, that would be a great tool for a teacher, Paul. You should invent something like that, although something tells me the parents wouldn't be too fond of that. Crayer continues to lead, though. We do have second, third, and fourth have pretty much caught up to Crayer's. Crayer starts to get into lap traffic. He's right behind Jeff Edgar right now. Edgar is going to heat way. Edgar 10 laps down in 17th, or 19th, excuse me. And tough break there for Edgar's. Here we go. Varney gets into the bumper of Karp, and oh, Varney turns Karp around. Karp's going to save, and Edgar goes nose first into the outside wall. I was just talking about what a tough night for Edgar, and he just got collected in something that was absolutely none of his doing there. A terrible break for Jeff Edgar. I mean, when you're unlucky, man, sometimes you are just unlucky.
And a really bad break. Rondo Leto and Brendan Varney also got together, and Varney doing some agricultural racing in the outfield.
Yeah, they did, actually. After the accident, Varney hit that curb and almost jumped over the 77 of Rondoletto. Varney, his motor's pretty much popped, and what looked like it could be a career day for Brandon Varney. He's probably going to have the same 30-minute repairs that Derek Colson had. So things changing dramatically here now. Crayer with a 2.5-second lead. Second, still Karp. He saved the race car and hung on. Third is Aiden McConaughey, although Karp does have some pretty severe left side damage. And now up to fourth is Marty Zakala with fifth Luke Turpin. As Paul, that really changed things in this race, as we had up front Varney was racing for this win, and now he's out of it.
I see a fire in pit road. That's really, really bad motor damage there. But yeah, things happen here quickly. Like I said, they just reacted to the original spin, and things just got really bad. So there's something to be said for just biding your time, staying in, not getting in any trouble, and the quieter the race you have, probably the bigger player you'll be here in the second half.
All right, well, this time by the flag stand, Kendrick Crayer takes halfway down, halfway to go. And Paul, we have a new segment this week. We actually have a XCAL superfan that's been watching the races each and every week at the racetrack. This guy is always the loudest fan. Everyone knows who this guy is at the racetrack, so we decided at the halfway point we're going to give him a microphone and let him tell us about next week. And we're sending it to Higgins, the XCAL superfan, on the backstretch. As hold on, I think he's having a little bit of a microphone issue there. There we go. Higgins, the XCAL superfan, on the backstretch.
Howdy, partner. This here's Higgins, the XCAL superfan, telling you that next week the stars and cars of the XCAL Racing League go to Irwindale Inner for 300 laps. This race promises to be a doozy, so I'm getting boozy.
It sounded like you had to go sick right before this.
Now, lately there's been some very naughty boys that earned themselves a timeout. Next week, Kenny Tripp, Tyler Gilbert, Ryan Sopper, and Sean English return to the field, and we'll have to see if they can mind their P's and Q's, if you know what I mean. I'm so excited for next week's event that I'm shaking, and this time it has nothing to do with the shakes that I get from when my mom was drinking when she was pregnant. Totally different thing here, totally different shakes. Back to you, Petey and Paul.
All right, thank you to Higgins, the XCAL superfan. And Paul, we're going to have to give him a microphone every week. I'm glad we got the information about next week.
Yeah, no doubt. This guy might, if he could somehow stay sober enough for the entire race, might take my job.
Yeah, those $2 beers on the backstretch, I really think they need to limit them to Higgins, the XCAL superfan, because it sounds like he is taking advantage of that deal, maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, he is 6th drink. It should be 6th drink maximum, not 6th drink minimum. But we'll see if we can run some fresh Poland spring water down to him, at least if he can, balance it out, 1 beer for every water. might be a good thing. But yeah, thanks for the update there. I'm looking forward to this feature each week.
Yeah, hopefully he is still standing by the end of this one. So up front is still Kendrick Crayer in the top spot. William Karp has closed the gap down a little bit to 1.3 seconds as he runs in second. And you know, Paul, we talked about Crayer. He was kind of robbed of a chance at a win last week. Let's talk about William Karp, though. He hasn't really been robbed of one yet, but this dude just keeps finishing second place every week. And you know, don't you start to get the feeling that one of these weeks, William Karp is going to finally break through and the sun's going to shine down on the 08 car?
Absolutely, you know, that's and they always say in racing too, the first one's always the hardest to get, and then after the first one, they'll start raining. So we got to watch out. The second William Karp does get through. Watch for, you know, the second, third, fourth win to happen, you know, shortly thereafter. But definitely a guy who's deserving to find himself in victory lane is William Karp.
All right, so Karp continues to run in second, although he has a mirror full of Luke Turpin right now. We have had a couple changes in position. Up to fourth now is John Schwartz. He has driven around a few of these guys. Actually, things are changing very quickly here. I apologize. Up to fourth now is Jordan Babinger. Fifth is going to be Octavio Rondoletto. Jeremy Leto goes wide off the speedway. Jeremy Leto is going to go do some agricultural racing there. So Jeremy Leto, a tough night, is continuing to get worse for the 24 team. Looks like Octavio Rondoletto, though, all over the back bumper right now. Jordan Babinger for fourth. That battle for position is really starting to heat up, as we still have 13 cars racing on the lead lap here from the Oxford Plains. We have had a change in position for second as well. Luke Turpin has gotten around William Karp. And let me tell you what, Paul, that Turpin car, I talked about suspension damage earlier. Well, I might have been wrong. That car has been the fastest car on the racetrack by about 2/10 the last few laps. I think Luke Turpin smells a little bit of a long green flag run coming here, and I think the Turpinator, being the intelligent racer he is, just kind of knows it's time.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might have been right there about those bad set of tires, which happens, you know. Even though you know, Turpin's one of the greatest drivers in our series, you know, these are still mostly volunteer crews. And it's very easy for them to get a mismatched set of tires. But yeah, that was a great move. He just put on William Karp there, set him up, and got him, forced Karp a little high there, and got him his, he's definitely touching Kendrick Crayer. And that intimidation button, and the fact that he said about 200 laps after the start there, Turpin may want to lay the bumper to Crayer. We're going to head up on that time, so let's see if that is the case. And also, as I was talking, also in my ear, I heard Brendan Varney unfortunately has pulled it behind the wall, and he's going to get himself a bottle of Poland Spring water.
Poland Spring water. Poland Springs, next time we come to Oxford, please actually sponsor us. That would be very cool. And I don't mean to just keep giving Poland Springs plug, Paul, but honestly, when I go for a bottle of water, I really do go for a bottle of Poland Springs. I don't know what it is, but just as, and I know everyone says water doesn't have a taste, blah, blah, blah. I think Poland Spring tastes the best. I think there is a difference, and Dasani is definitely the worst.
I'll feel you on the actually the Nestle water is actually not really good either, but Poland Spring, as American water goes, is great. You should try some of the Quebec natural water, is also, that's super fresh. Fresh out of the snow, that's good stuff as well. Tanner will tell you a little bit about that later.
All right, well, up front, Luke Turpin has tracked down Kendrick Crayer. He is right on his bumper right now. Turpin is going to he gives Kendrick a little bit of a bump there. He says, you know what, you have my respect, buddy, but I'm going to still race you like I race everyone else. Turpin gives him a tap there, and Crayer gets loose heading into three. They're trying to make their way around the lap cars of Greg Holes and Jose Godino. They get around both those guys. Now the battle for the lead is as tight as ever. So up front, these two dueling for the top spot. Let's see if Turpin can find a way around. And Crayer gets loose off the corner. Turpin sticks the nose in. Turpin to the inside of Crayer, and Luke Turpin takes over the lead. So just like that, new leader Luke Turpin, Kendrick Crayer is going to have to settle into second. Third, Octavio Rondoletto has taken third away from the 08 of William Karp. And now William Karp pulling the wrong way fast. He has a mirror full of Jordan Babinger. So Karp looks like the long run speed just not there on that 08 machine. As Jordan Babinger runs right up on his bumper right now. Babinger trying to find a way around the 08, but the 08 playing good defense right now. As Paul, it feels like we've had a lot of cautions in this thing, but as fast as the laps are here at Oxford, this really hasn't been all that long of a race. As here we go, Babinger gets to the inside of Karp, and Babinger is going to take away fourth from William Karp, so move Karp back to fifth now. But really, this race has clicked by fast, despite, it's not like we had a ton of cautions, but having a fair share of cautions.
Yeah, we have, but yeah, we're 200 laps out of 350, and looks like Crayer just hit the sandbag.
He did. I think he had to make a scheduled green flag pit stop, and he did hit the sandbag a little bit coming into the pits. The thing is, though, Paul, I think he hit it in a way that's not going to really damage his car, and he really didn't lose a ton of time. So for Kendrick Crayer, maybe next week, practice green flag pit stops a little bit more. Is also we have the 2 car down in the pits. Looks like the 2 of Eaton's 51 laps down. Something happened there with him. But Crayer, our first guy to come down on pit road, and we'll see if other guys start to follow suit now. As there's a wide variety of pit stops going on here, a wide variety of pit strategies, I should say. So really uncertain who's going to be coming down when. As here we go, Heather Patrick's going to pull down from 8th. And it looks like green flag pit stops are underway.
Yeah, absolutely. I was out there running with these guys in practice just to tune around a couple laps, and really the fuel cap here is only about 75 laps or so when the tires go off. Is they're just passing. You can see it took Crayer, what was that, 4 laps? 4 laps to take a pit stop there. So they're 3 laps down. So, green flag pit stops do come at a premium, but if we do get a long run, everybody will have to make their pit stops. So we'll see here how much tires play out, though, as Crayer did get right behind Turpin.
So we will see, and also update. So Crayer did come into the pits. He is 3 laps down. Actually, he might be 4 laps down. We're going to see what it cycles through to this time by. And Crayer is 3 laps down. So I think that confirms, Paul, that you can come down pit road and fill the fuel tank and only lose 3 laps. So that's probably good information for not just the Crayer team, but everyone to take note of here, as that's honestly less laps than I was expecting him to lose, especially with hitting that sand mound.
Absolutely, that's why I thought at first it was 4 laps, but very impressive. Got a really good pit crew on there, and like I said, he can learn a lot here by following behind Luke Turpin with that front set of tires now. He can stay behind him a little bit and learn from the master.
Yep, Patrick is also out, and Patrick only lost 3 laps too, and he was running in 9th. So I think that's just kind of routine. You lose 3 laps. So not as bad as it could be. Not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be at this track. So green flag pit stops underway, although I think those 2 guys were just kind of the 2 guys that were out of cycle a little bit, so that's why they came down so early. Looks like no one else is following suit yet. I'd probably guess maybe another 40, 50 laps before we see the rest of these guys come down. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm sure Crayer and Patrick are both hoping that we stay green for a little while here, so now that they're out of cycle a little bit. It is Luke Turpin out in front, though, with a pretty big lead. Second, Rondoletto has that one firmly. Third, Jordan Babinger. Really no battles going on until you get back to about 7th and 8th. Marty Zakawa is not too far behind Travis Sukup. That battle could heat up in just a moment. Really, though, not a whole lot. Is actually, we've had another car come down pit road and already get off. Jonathan Tuckness pitted from 6th position. He came down, got 4 tires in fuel. He came out 3 laps down in 12th. So pit stops still taking place here. As here's your updated running order. First is Luke Turpin, Octavio Rondoletto, Jordan Babinger, William Karp, and then 5th is going to be John Schwartz. There's only 7 cars in the lead lap. Johnny B goes off the track into the dirt. And we kind of talked to Johnny B a little bit yesterday before the race, Paul, and he said he feels that he appreciated all the love and support from the XCAL community last week. Obviously, the passing of his mother last week was very heartbreaking for him, as expected. But he said that this week his brain's just kind of been in a fog. He said it's not that he hasn't been wanting to be out on the racetrack and hasn't been not wanting to race, but he's just kind of been in a daze this week, almost like things aren't real for him.
Absolutely. You know what? That first week, especially after, because you go through, with the full family in the morning and, the funeral and all that. I know I suspect this week to be harder on him than, the last week. Last week he was probably more in a state of shock than anything else. Now that it's fully come in. So, we still need to embrace him and give him all the love and support, because I really, truly think this week is harder for him than last week.
And he's had a rough day. He's 46 laps down in 23rd. That car's been off the track a lot. Not saying that he's not out there doing a good job and focusing and stuff, but I think you can just see that his focus isn't 100% right now. He's just having a hard time really focusing with how distracted he is, I'm sure, naturally by the events that happened. So thoughts are certainly still with Johnny B and his family as they're going through tough times. Up front, though, Luke Turpin is still leading. The lap car of Kendrick Crayer, though, has caught right up to his bumper, and Crayer on those fresher tires is trying to force his way around the 454 as they go around the lap car of Marty Zakawa. They're going to put Zakawa lap down.
I was going to say, this will really behoove Kendrick to get by Luke Turpin. That would only put him 2 laps down, and then if the caution did come out, knowing that Turpin would have to pit, that would only have him 1 lap down, still within reach. But if he stayed out here, his chances of getting back into his no-time caution would be really far.
They would be for certain. I think we might have had Aiden McConaughey come down pit road. I'm not sure. I'm trying to see what happened there. If he hadn't, he lost a lot of spots. And no, he didn't come down pit road. I think he just had some... Oh, actually, excuse me. That is not correct what I just said. He did come down pit road, and looks like he only lost 2 laps in the process. So, Paul, I don't know how McConaughey pulled that off when he was running behind Crayer already on the racetrack. Somehow he only lost 2 laps. Maybe he didn't take a full tank of fuel is the only thing I can think.
Yeah, no doubt. At this point in time, with only 130 laps to go, if you try to split this in half, you could save probably a gallon on each pit stop, not having to take a full run of fuel. So that might be some strategy here as we look to, as the leaders, will hit here shortly.
Oh, here we go. Crayer's giving the bumper now to Turpin. This is important. Crayer really wants to get around Luke Turpin here and put himself back up only 2 laps down. If he can do that, he really would set himself up nicely if a caution flies. However, if he's trapped behind Luke Turpin when the caution comes out, he is really trapping himself 3 laps down. We talked about earlier, you can get yourself trapped here and just go lap after lap down. Crayer fighting for his life right now, trying to make sure that does not happen. He's really racing Luke Turpin hard as they get into some heavy lap traffic. They're going to go around the 82 of Alex Gangler, who currently runs in 14th, and Crayer once again giving Turpin a little bit of the bumper there. Turpin on them old tires, though. You know, it's funny. You think that maybe Turpin would just want to pull over and let Crayer go because it really doesn't affect Luke truly that much in the grand scheme of things. But, Paul, we just know that's not in Luke Turpin's DNA. He just doesn't know how to quit at any moment in the race.
Absolutely not. No, he knows how to be conservative sometimes, but there's definitely zero quitting this guy.
And he is just not letting Crayer get around him. They're going to now put the 45 of Sukup, who runs in 7th a lap down. So now only 6 cars run on the lead lap, and they're quickly coming up on Steven Rex. So quickly, it's just going to be about 5 cars in the lead lap. As here we go, more cars look like they might be coming down pit road, or actually not. I thought we were going to. The battle for 4th and 5th is heated up a little bit. John Schwartz runs on the bumper of William Carp, and here we go. Schwartz is going to come down pit road. So Schwartz shoots into the pits, and now John Schwartz is going to pit from the 5th spot. So another car making its way into pit road will be the 0-1 now. And he was on the leader's pit strategy, so that has me thinking, Paul, that we're probably getting close to seeing all these leaders starting to come down.
Absolutely. This is exactly when you will. But like I said, the longer you can stay out, the less fuel you have to take. So watch him try to bleed this thing dry.
Crayer has gotten around Turpin, so Crayer is just 2 laps down now. So Crayer has made the move to get around Luke. So Luke Turpin now only has a 2-lap advantage over Kendrick Crayer. As we're just kind of waiting on the top 5 to come down pit road. The first car on the racetrack that we know has pit is 8th place Aiden McConaughey. So McConaughey in 8th place. He's the first car off that we know has completed his pit cycle. Schwartz gets off the pit road now. He loses 3 laps. He will cycle in behind Kendrick Crayer, and it looks like no, he will be in front of Jonathan Tuckness. So a good pit stop there for the 01 of Schwartz. Looks like he didn't really gain anything or lose anything. Really, all I could ask is, here we go. 2nd place Jordan Babinger is going to come down pit road, and Octavio Rondoletto from 3rd is also in, as that's just going to leave us now with Steven Rex, William Carp, and Luke Turpin out on the racetrack. So here comes Rondoletto now off of pit road. Or actually, no, he's still on pit road, excuse me. I saw him starting to motion like he was going to come off. He didn't. And, Paul, we actually had McConaughey come back down pit road. So maybe when he came into the pits, it was an unscheduled pit stop for something different. And he has come back down, though.
I see that, yeah, that's he's definitely dropping a few positions. Maybe he was just trying to run something out there to see if he could catch a yellow. But, yeah, 3 guys in the lead lap. If we get a yellow right now, that'll definitely turn this race on its head. But Turpin's still pacing the field and doing well. We got some more takers down pit road.
Yep, Rondoletto's off, Babinger's off. William Carp has come down pit road now, so that just leaves us with Steven Rex and Luke Turpin, who have yet to pit. Here comes Steven Rex this time by. Rex is going to pull into the pits, and that means now the last car who is yet to pit is our leader, Luke Turpin. And this is just such a Luke Turpin strategy here now. He has the entire field a lap down. You know he's praying to see the caution right now. He would just love to see it, as we will see when the 454 decides to come down. One thing I've noticed about Luke, though, not even just this week, like pretty much every week in general, he typically does run the car pretty much out of gas under green. Like, he doesn't try to short pit or anything like that. He's one of those guys who believes in just running it until it's dry.
Absolutely, and you know, as well as he does on the setups, he's probably able to squeeze out a lap 2-3 more than everybody else here. And you know, he did do that pit strategy. He was the last person to pit on that yellow and actually restarted himself, I think, like 8th or 9th or something like that. So, you know, he had the most fuel going into this run, and man, he's got 3-lap lead. I feel like this is Paul Tracy at Phoenix all of a sudden.
He is doing a darn fine job right now. The only thing that concerns me, Paul, is that when he has to come down pit road, he's going to have to take more gas than everyone else did, and that should be a longer pit stall than everyone else had to do. So if he doesn't get a caution and things don't work out in his favor for Luke Turpin, he honestly could end up losing a couple spots just because of that. And as I say that, though, he's actually been out there for so long that Crayer's tire advantage has gone away, and now he's starting to catch back up to Crayer's bumper. So Luke Turpin's still out there turning laps, and he's actually been out there long enough for Crayer to go through almost a full tire cycle.
Yeah, I think Crayer's inexperience here is kind of showing off that I think Crayer used up pretty much all his tires trying to get around Turpin the first go around there. But remember too, PD, with what is it? We only got 110 laps to go. He can split this into 2 stops and not have to take a full set of fuel on either stop. He can load up here and then only have to go gas and go and not even change tires on the full thing if he's expecting this race to go full green. Or he can, split it and only take 3 or 4 gallons this time around and get right back out there in the lead.
All right, well, here comes Octavio Rondoletto now right up to the bumper of Luke Turpin. Rondoletto 3 laps down, trying to make it 2 laps down. He sits in 3rd right now. Here, that's the top 3 all under a blanket right now. The only difference is Luke Turpin's 2 laps ahead of Crayer and 3 laps ahead of Rondoletto. Here comes Turpin to the inside of Crayer. Turpin is going to get around Crayer. And now here comes Rondoletto to the inside of Crayer. This is for 2nd position. And Octavio Rondoletto will pick up 2nd. He almost dives the nose in under Turpin. He doesn't. He goes up the racetrack and gets into Crayer. Crayer gets forced out of the groove, and Rondoletto is going to hang on. So Rondoletto is going to be mired now into 2nd spot. As this time by, Luke Turpin does stick the hand out the window. The 454 is coming down the pits this time by. We'll have to see where Crayer and Rondoletto cycle through after Turpin makes this pit stop, Paul, as finally the 454 comes down.
Absolutely. We got 107 laps left, so it'll be interesting to see how much fuel he actually takes on this stop.
He could do a little bit of a short pit strategy here. We are going to have to see. So Luke Turpin comes down into the pits. Looks like the right side tires are going on the Luke Turpin 454 car. They jack up the right side, and these terribly slow street stock pit crew puts the right side tires on. They now run around to the left side of the car, and it is a full 4-tire and gas stop for Luke Turpin. So Turpin's going to have 4 fresh, thicker tires on there when he gets out, and now he's just waiting for him to pump in the rest of the gas, as Rondoletto and Crayer now are only 1 lap down as they go around the flag stand. And next time by, they will get back onto the lead lap. We're going to have to see this is going to be awfully close where they all cycle out. This time by, Rondoletto does come by the flag stand, and will he have the lead when he gets off the pits? Let's see. Rondoletto is going to be ahead of Turpin. Rondoletto is going to be slightly ahead of Turpin. It's going to be Turpin in 2nd, and 3rd is going to be Crayer. But Turpin is going to be right on Rondoletto's bumper with fresh tires. And truly, that worked out probably exactly the way Luke Turpin envisioned it.
Absolutely. He's got the tire advantage. He's got a full tank of fuel, and he's in the catbird seat. He can even drive conservatively and just stay right behind Rondoletto. But this is his race to win right now.
So a couple changes of position due to the pit stop. So 1st is going to be Rondoletto, 2nd is going to be Turpin, 3rd is now Kendrick Crayer. Up to 4th now is going to be John Schwartz, as high as he's ran all night. 5th is going to be Jordan Babinger, 6th is going to be Travis Succo, 7th is going to be William Tarpin, and 8th is going to be Jonathan Tuckness. Those are the only cars in the lead lap. In 9th, a lap down is Stephen Rex, and in 10th, a lap down is Aiden McConney. As those are all of your lead lap, or all of the top 10 cars. Heather Patrick in 11th and Marty Zakala in 12th, also only 1 lap down. And a pretty interesting run there, Paul. We're quickly coming in on 100 laps to go here. And with 100 laps to go, Paul, you got to be starting to think it's go time. So let's make some predictions here, Paul. There's 100 laps left to go. We're probably going to see another caution. If I was a betting man, I would bet on another caution. Who's your pick to win here?
I'll give you 2. Obviously, if there's no caution, Luke Turpin wins this race. I think there's no doubt about that. Short run, I think Kendrick Crayer. If we have a late race caution, I think Kendrick Crayer has shown that he's got the short run speed, and he could probably make this happen. So those are my 2 picks. Turpin, if we go green the whole way, Crayer if we have a late race yellow.
I'm going to throw a wrench at you. I'm going to pick Jordan Babinger. I think Babinger's going to win this race. I think he's had really good short run speed all night. Just on these restarts, he keeps getting trapped on the outside, but every time once he gets back down to the inside, he's been picking up spots. I think he's just been he's been a victim of luck so far. I think if you get Jordan Babinger on a late race restart, starting on the inside lane in 3rd or 1st, I think that 48 car can win the race. My pick to win this one is 5th place right now, Jordan Babinger.
Think anybody has anything for Luke if this goes full green?
Rondoletto. I think Rondoletto does. Rondoletto, I think that for the best driver of XCAL, it's certainly Luke Turpin, but then not too far down the ladder is Octavio Rondoletto, and then there's a pretty decent fall off after those two guys. But I mean, Rondoletto's a lot younger than Turpin. He's a lot newer to XCAL than Turpin. He's still learning the ways, but each and every week, this dude's learning more and more, and he's getting closer and closer to Turpin. I think if this thing goes green, Rondoletto, he's been saving a little bit this race. I think the 77 still has something to say before we just hand it to Luke.
I like it. Let's see how it plays out.
We will. So officially, under 100 laps to go, 97 to go, we are going to take a 30-second timeout here on Telesign TV for station identification. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with the epic conclusion of the XCAL 350. Welcome back, my friend. Just under 100 laps to go here in the XCAL Racing 350. My name is PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing. Alongside me, as always, my good buddy Paul Coleman Jr. You're listening to Telesign TV, and we are here getting ready for the epic conclusion of this one. And Paul, Luke Turpin, one thing I've noticed is his car takes a little bit to get going on a run, and his car has been a little bit off the pace. He is about 3.5 seconds behind Octavio Rondoletto because his car hasn't hit the sweet spot yet. And I know that Rondoletto is on a little bit of a different pitch strategy. He was in the sweet spot earlier than Turpin. That's still a pretty sizable gap, though, for our leader, Octavio.
Absolutely. I think Turpin set up for the long run where he's just going to gas and go really short or take a short pit at the end there. So I'm expecting him to keep his tires on. So this is the last set of tires he's going to take if this goes green. So that's probably why Turpin's being slow there. Octavio's probably going to take 4 tires in fuel when he pits. So he's got nothing to do, try to build up as big of a lead as possible on that Turpin.
And Paul, we keep saying, like, if this goes green, Tell me, Paul, do you think there's a realistic possibility that this thing goes green to the end? Because I'm kind of on the fence.
We've gone green for at least 100 laps already. To do 100 more, these guys are spread out. We don't really have any too close, tight battles going on. The lap guys are kind of getting out of the way, doing a really good job with that. We don't have a situation where somebody's going to, try to block unintentionally or anything like that to hold somebody up. We had some angered people, but those guys, unfortunately, their cars are so beaten that they're already on the hauler, making their way to Irwindale. So, as of right now, there's no reason to see a yellow coming.
No, and we haven't had change position. Jordan Babinger's gotten around John Schwartz for 4th, so move Babinger up 1 spot. He'll now set his sights up on the 3rd place car, of Kendrick Prager. Still having a really good run today, sitting in 6th right now. Travis Sukup in that number 45 car. Career day for the 45 of Sukup, running up near that top 5. And Paul, there's a lot of guys having career days. You have Sukup up there in 6th. You have Marty Zakala in his first full XCAL race, running in 10th. I mean, what a run for him. And Matt Baer up in 11th right now, McConaughey in 12th. A lot of guys who haven't been having great runs, really having a good run today.
Absolutely, and especially McConaughey, having to make that unstable pit stop there 3 laps down. He was doing really well. Report from the garage, Jonathan Tuck has been ruled out as pulled it behind the wall.
It looks like his motor went in the number 83 machine, so a tough break there for Tuck in his XCAL debut. An unfortunate break there, so Tuck takes it behind the wall. And still a lot of racing to be had, though, in the conclusion of this one. Still about 80 laps to go. This one is far from settled. The score is still not settled. The dust hasn't settled. Nothing is settled here from the Oxford Plains up here in Maine, as these guys certainly still have a lot left to race for here. And this one has been a race of attrition, Paul. In our top 15, there's the car in 15th place is 10 laps down, and it only gets more so worse from there on. A race that I really didn't think was going to be that much of a race of attrition has truly been a race of attrition, although, as it seems every week, the cream still rises to the top. Is the top 3 right now are Rondoletto, Turpin, and Prager. So not much has changed at the top of the leaderboard, but in the middle of the pack to the bottom of the leaderboard, certainly some attrition has been had.
Yeah, and speaking of attrition and scores, as you brought up, I'd like to give the fans out there that are tuned in XCAL instead of football the score. Baltimore Ravens are now actually ahead of the Dallas Cowboys, who have had their own attrition issues, 14-10 in the second quarter. I know, Peter, you're a huge football guy. The Bills with a huge win. I want to give a shout out to them. But yeah, this race, we had the incidents early with people, driving over curbs and things of that nature. Hitting the anthills, flipping over, and things of that nature. So that's a lot of those guys are out, but it's been clean at the top, though.
It has been clean at the top. That was one thing you can certainly say about this race. Aiden McConaughey went off the track. He's now back to 12th position as he's had a little bit of an issue there. So McConaughey gets a gather. He's going to try to pick up some more spots and hopefully get himself back up towards the top 10 once again. As we look through this field, just trying to find a good battle right now. Battle is heating up for, I was going to say the battle is heating up for 6th and 7th, but William Karp has gotten around Travis Sukup for 6th. Sukup goes a lap down now as Rondoletto drives his way around him. Rondoletto still with about a 3.2 second lead over Luke Turpin. So Rondoletto sitting pretty right now.
And speaking of people keeping it together there, the 45 just hit the anthill and flipped on his side and went down pit road on his driver's door. That was very impressive. Travis Sukup.
He made his way into his pit stall now. And was that a scheduled pit stop, Paul?
Yeah, the drivers that pitted early should, you can actually go the distance from here. That's 75 laps to the finish, so that's about a full fuel run. So he's in his window. I don't know if that really helped the cause, though, by sliding down his driver's score.
Yep, Kendrick Crayer's come down as well, so Crayer trying to short pit it. And we have a wide variety of pit strategy here, as we are here towards the end of this one. And pit strategy playing a huge factor in this one, as up front there's only 5 cars on the lead lap. We'll see who else is going to start coming down. Jose Godino turns down pit road, and Luke Turpin starts to make up some ground on Octavio Rondoletto. So tell me, Paul, do you think we see either of those two guys, Turpin and Rondoletto, make an early pit stop? And by the way, if this goes green, this is absolutely turned into a 2-car race, mano a mano, heavyweight versus heavyweight. Turpin and Rondoletto have about a lap on the rest of the field.
I'd say Rondoletto may, as soon as he starts feeling his tires give up, dip down. I think Turpin's made his bet, and he's run conservative here, that he's just going to continue to run conservative and just take gas and stay on that same set of tires. But he's only going fuel from here on out. But yeah, Rondoletto, expect to see him probably sooner than later.
Rondoletto having a heck of a time getting around lap traffic. That's allowed Luke Turpin to close the gap down in just 2 seconds. He made up almost a second and a half on him now. Turpin really starting to track down the 77 car. And Paul, as much as we talk about these are the 2 best guys in the lead, we really haven't seen an epic battle for the win between the 2 yet. It seems like just 1 week the one dominates, then the next week the other one dominates, and then maybe they are going to have a race, but one of them gets involved in a wreck. Paul, they've seemed pretty even all race long. All week long, those 2 cars have seemed like they're pretty close on the same page. Actually, in the heat race number 2, it was Octavio Rondoletto making a late race pass on Luke Turpin to barely beat him for the win. Maybe this is finally the race where we get to see the 2 heavyweights exchange some blows.
Absolutely. No doubt. If Rondoletto can get himself as short of a pit stop and not lose too much time, definitely I think he'll have fresh tires. He's going to come out behind Turpin when it comes to pit stops when it's all said and done, but he'll have the fresher tires, and if he can navigate traffic, he's going to have a chance to fight with him.
All right, so Rondoletto still trying to make his way up to lap cars. It's now a second and a half. Turpin is absolutely on a rail right now. That car is the fastest car on the racetrack. Lap in and lap out. He's hit a sweet spot. Rondoletto goes around the lap car of Greg Holes now. And Rondoletto, don't forget, that car has a little nose damage on it. He did hit the outside wall earlier, so it's not like the motor is guaranteed on that thing. He could be in danger of having what happened to Nick Ramsay happen to him, as Luke Turpin makes his way now around the lap car of the 08 of William Karp. Only 4 cars in the lead lap now, and Rondoletto quickly is making his way up to 4th and 3rd of Babinger and John Schwartz. And pretty soon, Paul, we're going to have 2 cars in the lead lap, not even because of pit strategy, just because Turpin and Rondoletto have been that much faster.
Absolutely, and I expect that might be the call that Rondoletto needs to come down pit road, because Babinger nor Schwartz are going to give up their spot. They're going to try to fight to stay on the lead lap, and that's going to allow Turpin to catch some huge drive time. So I think instead of trying to make those lap passes there, this might be the time that Rondoletto needs to come to pit road.
Here's what I think is going to happen here, Paul. I think Rondoletto is going to come down pit road, take 4 tires and as much gas as he needs. I think when Luke Turpin comes down pit road, it's going to be with about 30 laps to go in the race, and I think he's just going to take a splash and go. I think that's all it's going to be for Turpin. We're going to have to see how that cycles it out, if we are lucky enough to have green flag pit stops here.
Well, hopefully the gods are smiling upon us, because I think having a green flag run is going to be the best case scenario for that. But yeah, as Rondoletto stays in traffic and Turpin's now within a second of the lead, it's only a matter of time until Rondoletto, if I was his crew chief, I'd be pulling him in right now.
I think if I was Rondoletto, I'd be coming down the pits right about now, too. At the same time, though, Paul, you do risk a caution coming out and trapping you 2 or 3 laps down, so it's really easy for us to say that up here, but for Octavio Rondoletto, certainly a lot of variables play into this.
That's why I like sitting next to you, PD, up here, because I can play armchair quarterback. It's kind of like how we criticize, the Bills and the Patriots each weekend, right? It's so much easier to be armchair quarterback than to be in the hot seat. But yeah, I mean, he's given up, now it's within a half a second. I mean, he's just given up a tenth or two a lap that it's not going to help his cause to stay out any further.
No, and they are pretty much caught up to 3rd and 4th place Schwartz and Babinger now, so they're getting into some competitive lap traffic, and now they're right up on the lap car of Derek Colson, who's a lot of laps down. They got the new oil pan on that car, and unfortunately for Colson, the car looks fast. It's just he's 100 laps down, so they go around Colson. Turpin has caught right up to the bumper of Rondoletto now. Luke Turpin tracked him down 3.5 seconds over about the last 30 or so laps. Turpin, he is there, as they are now caught right up to the lap car of Sean Patrick. Patrick, hopefully he'll stay high for the leaders. It looks like he will. So Patrick's going to get out of the way. Then in front of Patrick, there's 4th place John Schwartz. So you got to wonder if Schwartz is just going to heat way or if Schwartz is going to try to battle for his lap. Turpin now right up the tailpipes of Rondoletto. Turpin peeks to the inside, nothing there. Still a pit stop left to be had. This one is going to come down to the final pit stop, folks. Here they come off turn 4, and it's still Rondoletto in the lead. Competitive lap traffic, though, right in front of our leaders, as they have almost put a lap onto the field. And as this race has gone on, it's become very clear this is a 2-horse race. Schwartz just going to come down to pit road, and that's actually a very, very good news there for the 77 of Rondoletto. So Schwartz pulls into the pits from 4th. We'll see where he cycles out when things go through. Now up front, they're going to quickly be catching Jordan Babinger. That'll be the next competitive lap car they get up to. Steven Rex is in front of them, and then in front of him they have Tyler Batchelder, then Jordan Babinger. But it is Luke Turpin all over the bumper right now. That's 77 of Octavio Rondoletto. And we're just waiting to see when these guys pull it down. That's the question on everyone's mind right now. As I think they're both playing the long game, Paul. I think they're both just going to take it as long as they can and see what happens here. As neither of them have really looked to be coming down pit road. I haven't seen anyone putting the hand out the window or anything like that. I think they're going to race it out here, Paul. I think that's what's happening.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, in this case, maybe Rondoletto's bed's made in the fact that he just needs to pray for a caution or something like that, because, with the way he's caught up to him, and if he stays out too much longer, taking tires is going to take too much time. And obviously it's going to take more time than it's going to take to get fuel in the car. So I think he's just kind of playing that strategy to, pray for yellow.
50 laps to go. 50 laps to go in the XCAL Racing 350, and it's heavyweight versus heavyweight. Rondoletto versus Turpin, the 2 winningest drivers in 2020, looking to settle the score here from the Oxford Plains. Turpin peeks to the inside, nothing there yet. Rondoletto keeps that machine ahead. They click another lap off the book. They continue to work in the lap traffic. And Paul Coleman, man, I think the factor in this race, it might not even be the pit stops, is I thought Turpin maybe was coming in that time, but he's not. He was just peeking to the inside of Rondoletto. He gives Rondoletto a little tap there. Rondoletto hangs on to it. They still race 1 and 2. I think the deciding factor in this race, though, Paul, it could be lap traffic. We saw it be the deciding factor last time. As here we go, the hands out the window for Octavio Rondoletto. He's bringing the car down pit road. We'll have to see what Rondoletto does.
Yeah, and Babinger also pitted in as well, so that's going to leave Turpin again to pull Paul Tracy and be, 3 laps ahead of the field.
Yes, I don't think Steven Rex... Oh, no, they've come in. Everyone has come in except for Luke Turpin. You're right. Here we go. Rondoletto gets into this pit stall. Let's see what he does. For Octavio Rondoletto, it's the right sides are going up on the car. They're putting the right side tires on. Let's see if it's 4 tires or just a little bit of gas on the right sides. We will have to see. Right sides are on that car. Let's see if they run around to the left side. And the crew is sprinting around to the left side of the car. It's going to be full 4-tire stop for Octavio Rondoletto. And Paul, do you think that that's going to be the move for Luke Turpin as Rondoletto is getting in and off pit road? Now for Luke Turpin, I think it's absolutely a gas and go stop for him. I think that's his best shot at winning this race.
Absolutely, he's going to be multiple laps ahead. So gas and go. Worst case scenario, if a yellow does come out, he can come back in the, he can either hold the field a lap down, or if he really, really needs tires, come in. He's, there's only going to be 2 or 3 guys tops on the lead lap, him being one of them, and he'll have the freshest tires. So either way, he's in the catbird seat. So yeah, you definitely just want to gas and go here.
So after pit stops cycled through, John Schwartz did get out in front of Jordan Babinger, so Schwartz would be on the podium when things cycle through. Actually, Stephen Rex, I think he might have already made his pit stop. Let's see. Stephen Rex, he has not made his late race pit stop yet. So Stephen Rex still needs to pit from 2 laps down, so he's in second if yet to pit. Luke Turpin still clicking laps off the books, though, as that car is running well up front, although he has a mess of lap cars up in front of him. About 4 cars run right in front of him, and he's just going to hope to make his way through. Fortunately for him, the 4 cars in front of him are 4 guys that are typically pretty respectful as he goes around the 06 of Cody Jones. So he picks up a spot there. He drops to the inside now of the 20 of Godino. He'll get around him no problem, and now Alex Gangler will be the next car that he needs to heat way. And this time by 40 laps left for Luke Turpin. And he made it through those lap cars without much incident, so Turpin hangs on. Rondoletto was able to make his pit stops, only losing 2 laps, so Rondoletto did not lose a ton of time to Luke Turpin. And for Turpin, he is going to need to have a flawless pit stop, Paul, and I know we expect perfection out of Luke Turpin, and it's kind of like, we just don't think this guy's ever going to make a mistake. But really, it could be just one hitting that dirt mound, one being in pit lane a little bit too long, missing your pit stall. One little mistake here could cost Luke Turpin this race. It's just, with this guy, though, it seems like he's at his best when the pressure's on.
Absolutely, and I'm not going to lie, this is one thing that surprised me about this. The drivers, talking about how this is the hardest pit road to enter, especially under green flag conditions, and aside from Travis Suckup, ending up on the side, we haven't had that many pit road incidents, so, knock on wood, announcer's cursed, hopefully Turpin does not run into one of those anthills, but they do come out quick and they can bite you.
So Luke Turpin continuing to lead, continuing to click away laps, and Paul, I think my prediction of a 30 lap to go pit stop and a gas and go is going to be fairly accurate, unless he can go longer than that, but I do think we're going to see Turpin run this thing pretty much dry before he comes down pit road.
Absolutely, there's no sense for him to, short pit from the situation. Again, the longer he stays out, the better chance for a yellow. He's got everybody 2 laps down, so worst case scenario, if a yellow comes out, he needs to make a stop. He's still 1 lap ahead of the field. He can even take tires.
Well, we will have to see, though, how this ends up playing out. Turpin continues to click away them laps. Now, Stephen Rex has come down pit road, so Rex comes into the pits. That cycles things out the way they're going to be. Rondoletto's up to 2nd. Schwartz is up to 3rd. 4th is Jordan Babinger. Babinger, I guess, is probably about 4 or 5 seconds behind Schwartz in 3rd. And Kendrick Crayer will be in 5th, not too far behind 48 of Babinger. So Stephen Rex gets in and off the pit road. He'll cycle through to his position as Luke Turpin continues to click away laps in front of the field. What an epic race from the Oxford Plains. Dramatic ending here with fuel mileage playing a big factor. Luke Turpin looking to win yet another race. He wants to go back to back. He's won 2 of the last 3, trying to win 3 of the last 4. And it's funny, Paul, we talked about it before. He's won 2 of the last 3. He was kind of on a little skid. He hadn't won a race in about a month or 2. And for Luke Turpin, that's very uncommon. And we were starting to wonder, maybe the competition's stepping up here. Maybe this isn't just going to be the Luke Turpin show anymore. Maybe we finally have some guys that are going to challenge this guy. But winner of 2 of the last 3 and certainly sitting in position to make it 3 of the last 4. Turpin continuing to lead at Oxford, and I think you might have heard the whispers, and I think you might have took it personal in a way.
Absolutely, and you're a sports guy, Petey. You from your time calling baseball games, all the greats end up going through slumps, and then the second they end up getting out of that slump, they tend to go on a tear and kind of like Superman and like baseball players. They start seeing the ball as beach balls, and I think that's what's going on right now in Turpin. It's just the baseball equivalent of just racing is just super easy for him right now. It's a beach ball. Help me find that metaphor.
I'm picking up what you're laying down, Paul. So under 30 laps to go, Turpin still is yet to come down pit road. And as we make it further and further, this is the less gas he's going to have to take when he comes down the pits. So for Luke Turpin, if he can make it to 20 to go somehow, he's really just going to need to take about a gallon or 2 of gas and get out of there. And for Turpin, I honestly think this is his race to lose. I think unless we see a caution, this is going to be Luke Turpin's race, unless something stupid happens in the pits.
Absolutely, as I said before, I think hands down. I hate to bore the viewers or anything like that and say it's a snooze fest, but this is just a clinic more than a snooze fest. If you want to see a guy just dominate and just beat people like Tyson used to beat, his opponents. This is what you're seeing right now. It's pure beating.
Well, Turpin makes his way through lap traffic. Lap traffic, much like fuel mileage, could end up being a difference in this race, as Luke carefully picks off car by car. Oh, Alex Gangler blows at the motor. He's going to come down pit road. That could have been the caution that everyone not named Luke Turpin didn't want to see, as he continues, though, to make his way through these cars. Although, honestly, Paul, at this point, I almost have to think that Luke Turpin probably doesn't want to see a caution either, because the only thing that does is make an opportunity for more cautions and give the rest of the field a chance to catch him. I think Turpin, much like everyone else, despite the big lead he has, probably wants to see this go green.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, he's got his strategy. He's got his bend made. I think he's going to come out to the lead regardless to whatever he does here. So, he's going to short pit it. Like I said, the only issue that he could possibly have is a mistake on pit road or getting on a pit road. And from that standpoint, probably doing it under yellow would be a little bit easier. But you know what? With that 2-lap lead, he can slow it down and just kind of creep it on through.
All right, so we will see as he continues to click away laps. He runs right behind the lap cars right now of Marty Zakala and Bruce Helmuth. Actually, cool thing about XCAL, a lot of these cars have real sponsors. Both those cars do. Marty Zakala is sponsored by the Rochester Sportsnet. He's actually one of the radio announcers for the Rochester, New York Sportsnet, so pretty cool there for Marty. And in front of him, Bruce Helmuth, sponsored by Temp Setters and also the Sim Speed Shop. Both two real sponsors there for Helmuth as well. So some real sponsors here in XCAL. This time by for Luke Turpin. 20 laps left to go with the flag stand, 20 to go. And you got to wonder how much longer he can make this fuel cell last. He has to be needing to come down fairly soon, I guess.
And piggyback off you, speaking of real sponsors, I'll be out in the K2 Sauce car in a couple weeks when we race at Concord. Feel free to check it out at k2sauce.com. Great real sponsor, best barbecue sauce, the only sauce you'll ever need. And yeah, what do we got? We got 18 laps to go, and Turpin might not even have to pit it all the way he's going here. He might have a masterful fuel strategy.
I will say that it almost has looked like he's been saving fuel. Like the way he gets off the corners, he's been feathering the throttle. He hasn't been going that fast. Nope, the hand comes out the window. The hand is out the window for Luke Turpin. He's coming down this time by. So he almost convinced me and Paul that he just wasn't going to pit. Luke Turpin will pit this time by. And man, does he drive it up on that curb. He needs to be careful not to hit it. He doesn't. Of course he doesn't. He's Luke Turpin. And he drives it right into the pits behind Travis Sukup. Hopefully Sukup doesn't get in his way. Here comes Turpin. And Paul, this has to be gassing though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Unless he wants to tour up the field, but no, he's got a 2-lap lead. What is it? 16 laps? Yeah, it's a gallon and a half, 2 gallons max.
All right, well, here he sits. He gets gas pumped into the car. No tires going on. The Jackman didn't even come out, and he gets out of the pits. He's going to get out of the pits in front of Travis Sukup. Let's see where everyone cycles through. And Turpin, here comes the third and second place cars of Schwartz and Rondoletto around him. And that means Rondoletto will be back on the lead lap. Schwartz will be 1 lap down. That's the lead Turpin has, Paul. He's right behind Octavio Rondoletto, and he has a full racetrack advantage over Octavio Rondoletto. It's Luke Turpin's race to lose, no doubt, as long as they got the calculations right on the fuel.
Absolutely. Well, hey, at least you got your battle. It may not be specifically for the lead, but they are nose to tail battling with 10 laps to go, so we can have a pseudo battle to see if Turpin has the stuff to get by Rondoletto late in the race.
And here's our weekly John Schwartz praise ball. Schwartz didn't look like he had the fastest car all week. Really struggled in his heat race, actually. Probably the worst I've seen him struggle yet. Really didn't understand this track. But here at the end of the race, there's not a scratch on that 0-1 car. I feel like I say the same thing every week. And he finds himself running in third, Paul. And once again, John Schwartz he knows how to bring that car home at the end of races.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got a battle there from Jordan Babinger, who all got tagged by somebody there, got a little loose. But it's going to be a battle to hold on to third. But it's very impressive so far.
A good run for Schwartz as the battle for third is on. Oh, Schwartz gets tight in the corner. He goes up the racetrack. Babinger sticks the nose in, and Babinger gets underneath him as Short goes wide on the racetrack. Babinger's going to take third position away from John Schwartz, so Schwartz will be shuffled back to fourth. Still, nonetheless, a great run for the Schwartz 01 team. Crayer currently runs in fifth right now. He's pretty far behind these guys. Looks like it's not going to go the way Kendrick Crayer hoped it might have today. So Schwartz now back to fourth, Babinger up to third. As Babinger, I was just praising John Schwartz there on a good run, but Jordan Babinger, he's also been in need of a good run, Paul. He's had a lot of good cars lately, a lot of races that we thought he was going to be in contention for the win, just couldn't quite close the deal. However, today at Oxford, he's running in third with about 10 laps to go, and it looks like he might finally get that monkey off his back and get a good race.
Absolutely, no, and that's kind of what we call the best of the rest award, right? These two other guys are in their own zip code. So really, the way it's played out, third place is kind of like it's like a win for it's when you're not in Formula One. It's when you're not the guys who finish behind Mercedes, right? Whoever's best with that is the best of the rest. And Babinger today is our best of the rest.
Luke Turpin continues to quick away laps, and let me tell you what, Paul, there's not another lap car within eyesight of him. Like, maybe he'll get to the 2 of Ben Eaton, but that's going to be about it. Luke Turpin with a huge lead over the rest of the field, and that 454, 15 seconds ahead of Octavio Rondoletto. Today, he definitely was one of the fastest cars. I'm not going to take that away from him. On the long run, I don't think anyone had anything for Luke Turpin. But today, I think we saw a little bit about the mastermind that's Luke Turpin too, the strategy guy, the guy that gets the calculator out. And today, it wasn't just the speed that's going to win him this race, as potentially he continues to lead late in the going. It was certainly the crew chief and the fuel mileage that's going to help him win this race as well.
Yeah, I think, and that's one of the things. I think he was set up for the long term as this played out here. He definitely had the long run strategy, and just those 8 yellows probably didn't play into our strategy at all. Kind of got him, a little bit out of shape, and his car definitely wasn't the best early, but it wasn't set up to do that way. And so that's probably what equates to all the issues we saw early on in the race for Luke.
Well, 5 laps to go. There will be no more cautions in this race, so whatever happens here is what happens. Turpin comes by the flag stand once again, and there's just 4 laps left to go. Our flagman today, Sterling Marlin. No specific reason. Sterling Marlin just wanted to be the flagman today. So Luke Turpin makes his way around the lap car of the 704 of Greg Holes, and now he's going to make his way up to Marty Zakala, as he does have a few more lap cars to negotiate here as they come by the flag stand with 3 to go. But Paul, I think that for a little while there was some questions. There were some whispers, people saying, I think Octavio Rondoletto is the best driver in XCAL. I don't think it's Luke Turpin. Looks like he's going to win 3 of the 4, and I think Luke Turpin made it personal, and he's looking to shut some mouths here with a pretty big statement, winning 3 out of the last 4.
Absolutely, and actually, a quick story there. Ricky Craven was supposed to be the flagman, as Ricky Craven is from Newburgh, Maine, but unfortunately, he was in quarantine, so Sterling Marlin had to come in there. But Luke Turpin going into the 2021 season is the man to beat.
White flag in the air, 1 more lap to go. Luke Turpin brings it down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. No doubt about it, the best driver in XCAL, winner of 3 of the last 4. The 454, Luke Turpin gets it done at the Oxford Plains. Luke Turpin, once again, with a dominating performance from Oxford, he parks the car in victory lane. Second place, 14.5 seconds behind Luke Turpin, is going to be Octavio Rondoletto. In third, 2 laps down, is going to be Jordan Babinger. This feels like a 1980s Cup race, man. Fourth is going to be John Schwartz, 2 laps down. 5th, Kendrick Crayer. 6th is going to be William Karp. 7th is going to be Stephen Rex. 8th is going to be Travis Sukup. 9th, with a nice first race in XCAL, running the full thing, is going to be Marty Zakala. And 10th will be Heather Patrick. And Paul, yet again, the 454, man. I mean, we've had the whole second half of the race to talk about it pretty much, but as he does his burnouts on the front stretch, as we head towards 2021, a statement was needed to be made, and he made it.
Absolutely, and it's not as if myself, you, and Tanner are battling over to get him for a ride, but I think that just really upped the ante, and price of poker is going up to get Luke Turpin under wraps for 2021.
All right, so we are going to get a word in with some of these guys who had a good finish today. And first off, I'm going to talk with our third-place finisher of Jordan Babinger. We're down here by his car after the race. And Jordan, a good day for your team. You're running near the top 5 for pretty much the whole race, and you're able to bring it home in third. Tell us how you were able to get around Schwartz there late in the going to take home a podium.
Yeah, we actually had some good luck going for us for once. Able to finish one of these things. It's not easy. But yeah, I think we had some fresher tires than him, and was able to track him down. Just got under him there and made a clean pass. He raced me real clean.
All right, well, let me ask you, Jordan, as we get closer to 2021, your car, your DBR number 48's been showing a lot of speed. So tell me, as we get closer and closer to the season, Jordan, do you think that, heading into 2021, that 48 team has a real shot at this XCAL championship?
Oh yeah, with this race, I mean that helped a lot of confidence. It's a good confidence builder. This race was, Tyler and those guys are all helping out a lot with the setups and running pretty good. Just gotta make it to the end of these things.
All right, Jordan. Well, before I let you go celebrate a great podium finish with your team, who do you got to thank for sponsors and crew there on that car?
Oh yeah, I just want to thank DBR Racing and Tyler, John, and Art, and Trevor, and Steve. All those guys work real hard on these setups, and so yeah, just like to thank those guys.
All right, well, that was our third place finisher tonight, Jordan Babinger. And Paul, we actually have an update. There's an issue with Octavio Rondoletto, where immediately after the race, he had a COVID test come back that might have been positive. We haven't got it confirmed or anything yet, so they immediately rushed him away from the racetrack. We do not want anyone near him, so he will not be available.
I heard that he actually may have to drive all the way to California, so they wanted to get him and beat the traffic because they may not let him on a plane. But he is going to be out there and at least driving to California until we get those results back.
So since he cannot get an interview, Paul, we're going to go next man up, bring up John Schwartz in fourth. And Paul, I think you're down on pit road with him.
I am. John Schwartz. Each and every week I sit next to Petey Zeller. First off, you got a copy? Before I get my story?
I got a copy.
All right. So, each and every week I sit next to Petey here, and Petey just sings your praises. Says, you're the guy, you qualified this week 17th, you quietly move up, he's one of those, you're that guy that we don't really talk about the first half of the race, and then all of a sudden with 50 laps to go, it's like, whoa, John Schwartz is in fifth. So tell me, how do you do it? How do you quietly move up and seem to have no scratches on your car, stay out of trouble, make it up in the top five like each and every week? How does that happen?
Well, I honestly don't know. I don't try to do things like in a long race. I just take things race by race, and so I feel that in this race, I felt that the first half of the first 175 laps or so, they were a bit hectic. Caution seemed to come pretty quickly, and so I felt you had to mostly focus on the short run and just keeping out of trouble. Everyone really wanted the bottom lane here, and I felt like the track almost was handled like Darlington, where you need to focus on yourself and just not wrecking, and because the outside line, like at Darlington, is so important. It's like the inside line here. So just race your own race that first half. And then the second half, I feel that, we got a long green flag run that was really tiring. And so you really had to just focus on green flag pit stops. So just trying to minimize mistakes. And at the end, I was glad to be up at front near the end.
It was the tale of two races, really. The first half was, short stints, 20 laps, yellow, and then we had that line. So which one kind of did you like better, and then how did you make that adjustment once you realized that this race was probably going to go green the whole way?
I think I really enjoyed the long green flag runs near the end just because I felt you had those lap cars and they were actually being really nice, being able to move out of the way. And the cars that you were battling with on the lead lap, may have been on slightly different strategies where they may have pitted 10 or 15 laps before or after you, and so they might be letting you by early because they're going to get back to you near the end of the race like Babinger did with me for third. And so I felt that the main thing about that second half of the race was just being able to know where to go and when to fight your battles.
Well, absolutely. Hey, Petey, I know you're setting up with your interview for Turpin. You're down there in Victory Lane. You're probably going to get some ice-cold Poland spring water dumped on you as well as some other beverages. But this is your boy. You have any words to say here to him?
Yeah, I'll probably talk with him after the race, but as always, John, good job. You do it every week, man. You keep the car in one piece and you're there at the end. I know it sounds stupid, but man, just a lot of people don't get that, and you do. So good job, another good strong top five, and I won't see the points until tomorrow, but I bet you're still winning our little preseason point standings thing. So with 3 races left, you're up there in the championship for that.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad how I've been able to keep up the consistency. I'd like to go for that feature win at some point, but I don't feel like I have Turpin or Rondoletto's pace. But hopefully in these next few races I'll be able to work to get there.
You say, what's the one thing you think that's keeping you from that? What do you expect to do to change to get up there to be able to battle Luke for a win?
As you saw, just after a super long run, those guys are even starting to lap us. So I feel like, though it may be small, just a half or half a tenth or 1/10 a lap, just being able to edge out that extra percent is just super hard once you get to the very top there. And so, those guys, they might get unlucky sometimes. That's why I might be lucky in the points right now. But overall pace, they're just able to be so consistent at such a high level. So I think if I'm just working that consistency and just getting that extra edge, I can be up there.
All right, well, we thank you. Hey, aside from Petey, anybody else you want to give a shout-out, thank to, or anybody else?
I'll thank First and 15 on the car and GTR Simulators. And again, Telesign TV, thanks you guys for putting on such a great broadcast.
Well, thank you. Well, we hope to see you on the podium next week at Irwindale. And I'm going to throw it down to Petey, who's in the sea of Poland spring water.
Yes, I am, and I'll tell you what, once again, we're down here in Victory Lane with a 454 of Luke Turpin, and the champagne's flying. Turpin's out of the car, winner of 3 of the last 4. Luke, let me tell you, today it did not come without its challenges. I like what Paul said in his interview with John, the tale of 2 races. The first half of the race, we saw a lot of short little 20-lap runs, and then the second half of the race was pretty much all green flag conditions. First off, Luke, let me ask you, was that big green run there at the end what you're looking for? Because it really did look like your car was probably the best in the field after about 50 or 60 laps.
Yeah, we were really hoping that it was going to be a lot of green flag racing. I had a great car throughout the night. I was trying to protect the race from every angle, if you know what I'm saying. Like, I felt like we had the fastest car. I felt like our Chevy motor was getting the best fuel mileage. I felt like it came on strong at the end. And I could save tires at the end if there was going to be a green white checker kind of deal. That concerned me a little bit at the end, so I really kind of backed off with 20 to go just to make sure I had tires at the end there.
Well, speaking of the end of the race there, looks like you were on a little bit of a different fuel strategy than Octavio Rondoletto. So with about 50 to go, did you know that you were just going to be coming down for a splash and go? And did you know if it went green, you were probably in good position to win the race based off that?
I felt good. I felt really good about that. Projecting out, and once I kind of realized that was the trajectory the race was taking, I tried to start protecting it from the other angles. So yeah, it was just a great race, good race overall. A lot of guys driving real good again, much better. You could get on their inside and they'd let you sneak on by when you had a little bit of speed on them. And sometimes you got to let people by. I mean, there's probably 3 or 4 or 5 guys out there that know I let them by early in the race, and sometimes you just got to do that.
And now, Luke, I do want to ask you this too, because early in the race we saw a few situations where your car got really loose early in a run and a few guys got by you. Was that more so just you kind of taking it easy early in the race, letting some guys just get by you, just riding your pace? Or was your car really just handling that poorly on the short run?
It wasn't handling great, but I was also really trying to roll the middle. That's where I find I can get the most gas mileage out of the car. So if you overstep that boundary and the yaw in the car gets a little too much, then it really sits on that right rear and it's ugly coming out of the corner. And, it'll bite you every now and then. I almost had it bite me a couple times.
Paul, I see you're down here in Victory Lane too. Is there anything you'd like to ask Luke?
Man, they told me they had Poland spring water down there, so I jetted right down. Luke, 3 out of 4. I mean, after the slump, is this something that you expected? Is this, or is this a surprise to you? I know you struggled in these races coming in, a month or 2 beforehand. Is this what you expected out of your team, or is this kind of rising above even what your expectations were?
I mean, Paul, every time I come to the racetrack, I come to win. I feel like I got a chance to win every week. It's a lot of guys in here, though, man. There's probably 10 guys that could win on any given week, and you got to fight them off. There's going to be a different one every week. Last week it was William and the 66. This week it was probably Octavio and Jordan. USA was I can't remember who that was, but it's going to be a different guy every week. You're not going to face the same guy every week. You just got to go out there and give it your best shot.
Absolutely. Now, one last question. I know every viewer wants this answer, and I think even PD and Tanner kind of want this answer. Are you anywhere closer to making a decision yet, speaking of winning races next year, which great team you're going to represent?
We have a deal inked in. I am off the market, and it is going to be announced by the team owner at their discretion. We're painting up the car, the backup car right now. The primary car is going to get some paint possibly in the next 2 weeks, and we're going to bring that out for 21. And as you know, Paul, I mean, I don't know if you caught that super truck race. We drove that thing from the back to the front there. We got to get some K2 on that car. It's going to look real good coming up through the pack.
Absolutely. My guys will reach out to your guys, and we're going to make that happen.
All right, well, Luke, before I let you go celebrate this win with the rest of your team, man, who do you got to thank for sponsors and crew there on the 454 machine?
I want to thank everybody that puts the race on. Aaron, Tanner with the broadcast, Petey and Paul with the call, all the competitors. I mean, it takes everybody to make this happen. There's probably some junior admins. I'm not real sure of their names quite yet, but it's no one wants to see one car go out there and drive around all day. So everybody that comes out and races, I want everybody to come back, and I want to help. If people, are struggling, let me know. I'll help. I want to see everybody have a good time.
All right, well, that was your race winner tonight, Luke Turpin in the 454, and that'll wrap up interviews. And Paul, here from the Oxford Plains, the first half of this race, man, we were real questionable. It was looking rough, quite a few cautions early in the going. However, these boys really redeemed themselves, running the entire second half of this race under green with really no incidents whatsoever. So a race that was kind of leaning towards this might not be that great of one really did turn into quite a good event.
It was one of those, cautions breed cautions, and once they were able to get strung out, like I said earlier, this is a pretty wide track. The lap cars were able to go wide and high, and avoid getting. I mean, to their detriment, that's why they ended up 6-7 laps down, because they were driving smart and they were driving. But I mean, each time you get up out of the groove, that's a second or two on your lap, so that adds up. But unlike last week, everybody stayed clean, stayed out of the way, and really didn't affect the outcome of that. Just Luke Turpin used fuel strategy and just kind of smoked the field there from that standpoint.
And certainly they're a good run for him once again. Next week we head to Irwindale Inner for 300 laps, as Higgins, the XCAL superfan, let us know earlier on. And so another broadcast in the books, another race in the books, an excellent one here from XCAL Racing. On behalf of myself, PDJ Zeller, the voice of XCAL Racing, on behalf of Paul Coleman Jr., thank you once again for making my job so much easier by joining me up in the broadcast booth. On behalf of Tanner Kalin and all the fantastic people over at Telesign TV who make these broadcasts possible, on behalf of Aaron Hillbush and XCAL Racing, the people who put these races on and give us such a great league to call, and on behalf of race winner tonight, Luke Turpin. Take it easy, folks. We'll see you next week in Cali.